sleepless nights. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be there, I'll be there. I'll be there when the lights don't shine. I'll be there in the sleepless nights. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be there, I'll be there.
everybody, and welcome to the PUBG Mobile European Women's League Season 3. How are you all this evening? I hope you're doing well. We're ready for some action, but my name is Neptura. Highland, how are you feeling about tonight?
Look, I'm doing really well overall so far today. In Neptura, we are looking now as we go into the finals of our first week of competition here. Group A, Group B, is eliminated day for some of these teams, and some of these teams are going to go straight through to the finals. We've got to see how we're our first Group A here, tonight.
Absolutely. We had some cracker games coming in here in day one. These girls were really giving it their best, and we saw some really good stuff. So I'm excited for the last 5 games because remember, it is the last 5 games for this group. They are going to have only tonight to actually do their best to get through to the next round. And as you see on the leaderboard, it's looking very, very close.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, this leaderboard really close overall. With Mad Bulls very slightly ahead of Kasei Esports in that second position. They also were by the end of that night in 48 hours ago, 2 nights ago, where they were closing in that top 3. They're just ahead of Dreamers, Barca even position. There were some shots, and no pun intended, Neptura, of some of the new teams that we thought would come out swinging. Shocking. One of them where we really thought we would see a mum in that first 5 games 2 nights ago.
Yeah, we did. It is unfortunate and rather surprising. You're right that there's only 13 points over the 5 games that they've had so far. But I do think that they've got some ways to go, and we've got 5 games, which, while that is short, is plenty of time to actually get back here. They've probably done a lot of practice, a lot of thinking, some self-reflection, perhaps, and I think it is going to work in the end for them, hopefully, fingers crossed for them. Are they going to get top 3? Very unlikely at this point, but if they can hold on to 16th, or rather 15th, that's all they need.
Yeah, indeed. It is all about just getting into those tops, of course. Keep in mind that going to only see 15 teams overall. There are 18 teams here, 16 teams total, but we are playing with 18 teams to keep in mind. So there is 3 teams by the end of tonight that do get eliminated. Yeah. As well as the top 3 teams going through. So it's the top and the bottom echelons of our overall standings that we're really looking at who's through and who not. Yeah,
it's going to be a tough one. I think we're going to see probably the same map rotation coming up here, but it's going to be an interesting ride for sure. SPG in particular, I'm not sure where they're going to be able to stand here. Shockwave as well. You got AOR and BRX as well, all in that similar situation, right? Where they do have very, very small points sort of thing. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, also when you look at the facts of some of these teams that you said, right, who are falling down in the overall standings, I think also TPS was one of those teams that when we initially looked at where they were going in the beginning to the day, TPS, maybe even Bonfire, some of these teams who were looking fairly strong overall at the start of the day in first day of Group A. It was the end of the day overall after really Sanhok, where they ended up falling down and ended up about that, of course, middle of the pack area. And it is a bad Sanhok map that I think changed a lot here in Group A and where those teams are placing and who ended up actually being at the top at the end of that first day.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this map rotation, right? And yeah, it's about the same as we've seen the last 2 days of all these teams, but I think less so that in Group A than Group B, you have teams who do super on particular maps, right? So it is going to be more difficult for us to kind of discuss who's going to do well per map because I think they're all equally diverse across the map. So going to be an interesting one to see for sure. Looking toward of those teams on the lower half of the leaderboard to pick that momentum up from Sanhok onward. But I would expect maybe the top 5 to really start playing many points from the beginning as possible. So if something does happen in the later stages of the night, they're not going to suffer too badly.
Yeah, as well, I think Miramar was one of those maps where we really also saw some changes in teams. I mean, also, you're looking towards who was winning Miramar in that first day. Sly was one of those teams that we were also looking at in terms of their ability to win on those desert dunes. So you really are looking at, well, okay, how are these teams going to adapt, yes, to a chaotic map like Sanhok, but also games that are more frequent like Miramar, because everyone has that comfort of Erangel. Miramar is, I think, also a separator when it comes to some of these teams, and really shows, of course, those flaws in teams where they are lacking perhaps in those rotations, in those positioning ability and team cohesion into getting into those later portions of the desert.
Yep, 100%, 100%. We will be getting into our first game in just a second here. Guys in chat as well, if you have any predictions for this next game coming up, or if you have a team that you're supporting, you just want to shout out, by all means do. I know the gals can check the chat in between games and stuff, so if you want to give them a little bit of encouragement, so we might read some out a little bit later as well.
Yeah, and of course, if you are supporting a team, I think some of these teams really, I think, have been getting so much support. I think we've got to bring in all the support for all of the teams. I mean, there's definitely some favorite teams we've been seeing in the chat when it comes to the overall sport. I want to see everyone getting our support in. I mean, I also like it from a Casa point of view, right? I can just be unbiased and I can look at whoever's winning and just root for the team that wins.
Yeah.
So I will win it every time. I don't have to go any one side of one team.
100%. It's honestly a good strategy, a good way to go. We need to have a bit more like that. But yeah, it's going to be definitely a very interesting night. Strategic, I think a little bit more aggression coming in from Group B, right? We've seen Group B. Now we can compare them a little bit. A little bit more aggression out of the gate. Group B, I think a lot more confidence probably into Group B. Have a lot more experienced teams in Group B. Group A, I think, is still being their rhythm, their flow, where they fit in this ecosystem. So you might see a lot of tonight. You might see a little bit as they kind of figure out how they're going to navigate this tournament. Because for some of them, they might be feeling like they're struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, when we're also looking at the case of Group B definitely had a lot of separators. I mean, Besiktas, with their ability to come up strong. We also had Galatasaray there, who were performing towards the end of the day. Major Pride as well, who are picking up a lot of points. So there was a more disparity in terms of the overall points, where some teams were sponging up more and they had more eliminations by the end of those 5 games in Group B yesterday. Group B is really much more interesting, I think, in terms of the ability for chaos to happen within these teams, right? They're so close between each other on the standings, and there is a couple points here and there that do separate some of these teams and placements. Overall, though, in that middle portion of the leaderboard, so much could happen between game to game.
Yeah, 100%. Especially, I think Group A is so close to the point where a lot of the tension coming from, right? Rather than in game, I think it's going to be outside the game that we're turning our attention. Because we saw the leaderboard a little bit earlier, it is still super duper close amongst the top 10. There's only about 10-15 points between them all. So it's really going to be a test going to adapt and just be very consistent and realize who's going to say, right, we need to get 5 points per game and this team needs to be on our watch every single time. You know, that sort of thing. That's what I'm seeing from these teams who are aiming for that top 3 or even just safety away from the bottom 15th place sort of thing, right? So definitely going to be trying to kind of see where those teams are situated, how they're feeling, and if we can read that from their game.
Yeah, and I mean, also, I do like that idea of also hot dropping. I think we might see that, especially in the finals. Maybe we see if there's a contention between that top 3 later on in the evening tonight. I think both teams probably will avoid that type of style, especially in this stage of the tournament. Most teams, of course, will be within that middle of the pack. They will be qualifying into week 2 overall. In the top 3, yes, but you could also end up having issues like Star Blossom and NTX, right? Who, yesterday in Miramar was a great example where you start to hot drop a team a second time, and both times on Miramar, it really didn't work out so great for this team overall. So I'm hoping that teams will also stick to their strengths and stick to what we know when it comes to the rotations coming into today's games.
We just have to find out, Highland, to be honest. We're just going to have to get into game and kind of figure out where these teams are going because, it is an interesting dynamic for all of them. And as you said, you have 18 teams coming in here instead of the normal 16, right? So there's a lot up for grabs here. There's a lot more teams, a lot more players. You're talking 8 other players on these battlefields to actually clog up some of these rotations, clog up some of these spaces for other teams. So it's not as open as even 16 teams can be. So it's definitely a big change perhaps for a lot of these teams, and we're going to see navigate it. They seem to navigate it quite well in day 1, but now when it comes down to the wire, when you only have 5 more games potentially for you in this tournament at all, that's when you're really going to start thinking outside the box.
Yeah, and especially for those bottom teams as well here in Natura. I mean, SBG, Foreign, also Watch and Learn. These 3 teams currently in those relegation spots in 16th to 18th position. They're really going to have to be able to turn up the pressure tonight and turn up the ability to perform because it is these newer teams, especially in Group A at least here in Natura, they have been struggling to compete against those more veteran organizations like Sly, for an example, or like Barcy, who have been performing in the Women's League and in these seasons for a while now. So there are these aggressive players who maybe are throwing off the confidence of these new players and these new teams. I'm hoping today, now that they've got one day out of the way and it's day 2, they can shake off those day 1 nerves and they can come back swinging.
Yeah, 100%. There's always something to be said about kind of a warm-up day a little bit. When you have these short-term tournaments, it's much harder to do so, but there's definitely something to be said for having, for many teams, that warm-up game, kind of get used to the lobby, how they're playing in this specific tournament, and then moving on and trying to actually play your game. I think another big thing as we get into the match number 1 here is you are going to be seeing hopefully much better zones for these teams, because I remember Group A and now Group B as well, both their day 1s have been really rough on a lot of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, especially right for Group A, you have some big disparities compared to when you're looking at the top of that leaderboard with 50 or so points of Mad Bulls, and down at the bottom, we're still in single figures in terms of the points. It's definitely going to have to be a lot better than this average of 1-2 points per game. You are looking at also where they initially drop, and I think this early game, which has affected these teams at the bottom. I mean, especially for Foreign and also Watch and Learn, I think it's been some of the rotations looking back from the first day's worth of games here in Natura, they've been causing some problems for them. I think just the way that they're rotating around the map, perhaps too late sometimes, or also running into teams and not having really a nice setup to be able to go into these fights, or rotating also, of course, really within the wrong spaces of the zone based on where that zone could be going.
Oh, there goes the zone now, just as you said that. It has popped up onto the southeastern side a little bit there, kind of edging its way that direction, but for the most part it's going to be fairly chill. There's only a few teams outside of the zone right now, and I think you've really got all of that northern side to work with as well. Sure, teams are going to start moving kind of out a little bit, spreading out away from that plane path, but for now it's looking not too bad. LXSQ though, not having a great time, as is not Say Baby, because they've found Sly Highland. That's really unfortunate. They just got taken out even on drop. I don't think they got the chance to land even.
Yeah, and I mean here as well, it's just unfortunate it happens to sometimes the best of us. You land, you get hot dropped also by another team. I think there were some mistakes coming through here though from Lex, right? They are very split. You could see the other player on the minimap there a fair ways away from the teammates who I assume dropped somewhere nearby, I would hope. But not having that consistency on teams dropping altogether does actually affect the overall side of Lex, right? And they end up falling down earlier on. Slivo, 1 point on the board, and this is good for them because they also needed to get some points to jump back up towards those top 3 positions where they did fall out of those top 3 by the end of the first series of games just 2 nights ago.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we did see Sly get quite a few points, 33 on the board in the first few games there. But yeah, they're not far away from Mad Bulls, to be honest, in that first place position. They've only got 27-ish points, which the way these girls have been playing, the ways these wins have been panning out for teams, is only 1.5 really good games. So it's very, very doable for them.
Yeah, indeed. And when you're also looking around this zone as well, right, Neptura, it's quite a nice zone for these teams because they have the ability, of course, to use Napoliana towards that more northern, western, eastern side, should I say, or towards the southeastern side. You've, of course, got the entrance to like Potato Hill Farms, also an option for teams coming in towards that zone. And then you also have the side of the bridge. Teams can even rotate down towards the South Island to utilize those bridges, and it's something actually I want to point out that these teams haven't been using perhaps as much, given the way that the zones have played out. There still has been some opportunity for utilizing the South Island and crossing around those bridges for a better position into zone.
I find it interesting that Barce and Sly are really getting into it early on this time around, right? We've seen them before kind of maintain their separate ways and keep to themselves a little bit more, but right now, they're not wasting any time. They realize they've only got five games to actually do something, get as many points as possible. So for both of these teams, they decided to go up against each other. Now, I kind of like Barce's positioning a little bit more, right? It's a little bit more surrounded of these teams, especially of Gristo here. She's struggling to find an exit. But it's the rest of the team that are going to give her backup, because that means Barce cannot move more forward than they are right now.
Indeed, here's Sly feeling a little bit pinned to it. I quite like the way that Barce are performing this pinch. You've got initially 1-2 players, but as I say that, I've already hit with the caster curse in just the first 5 minutes of the first game here in Neptura, because it seems to have gone wrong here. It was the overlook on Sly, I believe, and that higher ground second floor building. Yeah, here Lanuzix, we can see where they were able to scope down onto the street and find those 2 members of Barce. So now suddenly Barce, they were looking really strong in putting the pressure onto Sly, and now suddenly they're down to 2 players. That nade, though, beautiful from Phaser, will catch a knock and an elimination and even score back up.
That's really, really nice from them. Great stuff coming in from Barce there. Beautiful nade. And I think Freeps was trying to get a nade onto that player's silo over there, but ended up damaging her teammate even further. So kind of backfired a little bit there. But yeah, this is a really interesting fight. It's nice to see how even it's actually being, despite Barce's arguably better position here. They are looking still slightly in control here. So it is nice to see. They won't be able to get this teammate back up, I don't think. Oh, when they do, just Highland.
This is really risky. The spray could come through from that smoke as well. So for Freeps, it's a very much last minute revive. They do get it off.
Yeesh.
I'm surprised that they didn't go for it. The poke looks like it's coming through, but it's not going to land. And finally, they do get behind the wall. So very risky, but they did pull it off. I thought that could be a moment, it could be a disaster right now. 2 more go down potentially in that location. Yeah. Fires through the smoke, so a nade through the smoke as well. Could have spelled disaster for him, but Sly, they pull it off.
Yep, 100%. I think that's where it comes from. Oh, hang on. Wait, Leora. Oh, does good work, but not enough, especially especially with the 3 of them in there. That's going to be Shockwave pulling up, getting an elimination. But I think, unfortunately for them, that's just a revenge elimination, right? Amelia has gone down, and it is to Mad Bulls. So that is unfortunate for them, but they will have to live another day. At least they got that revenge point. But back over to Slime Machine and Barce, right? As another one does go down, but Freeps is knocked again as well. I think that knock was the revive rather was a really good play because they probably had that information to go along with it. Yes, it was a risk, but they knew that they had to take that risk to actually have 3 up for the best shot at the game. And if they had that information to back that up, it was a decent play. So it has worked out for them in the end. They do still have all 3 up, and now they know exactly where the rest of Barce are.
Yeah, I mean, Barce do seem like they want to separate away from this fight, but that knock on to Kimetsu, I believe it was, does actually spell the push for Sly now coming in towards that 4-stack building onto the eastern end of Yasnaya Polyana. So it is going to be interesting to see if Sly will look to go further in. Barce, though, you can see Lanusix has been caught out here. So I'm curious at what happened there. Now Lanusix losing their life for Sly, it will be a 2-on-2 exactly now.
Really interesting how quickly teams are picking each other off, right? This is nothing like what we saw in day 1. They were taking it far more slowly this time around, and not even with a harsh zone or anything. They're really starting to find each other and take those fights and get those points. So nice to see from a spectator's perspective as well. It's always more fun when they do it like this. And we're already down to 64 players remaining, but still leading.
Yeah, Langer's Blitz, another one of these teams, right, who are also looking for the points. They're not so much in the bottom of the leaderboard where they could get relegated for now, but they are down towards that second half. So they're going to need some more points here. Langer is coming into today. It's going to be a big task stepping in your first fight into Fairway, who are currently top 3 right now, and you're asking to take down one of the top performers from yesterday. Fairway, though, they are looking pretty all right for now. They have got those revives back on through. They are also into the zone. They're going to look further into the zone as it has very much centralized towards where it was currently. It's just going to still keep the south side of Yasnaya Polyana, those crater fields, and also the hills just towards the south of there, all available for these teams to use.
Big moves from SBG as well, though. Onto Bonfire. SBG, another team that desperately needs these points, right? 16 on the board coming in from last night. This could go really, really well for them if they play it correctly. They're still going up against a full squad here, but I like the angles they've got going on so far. It's looking good either side, looking like a strong defense and a strong push as well. So it's really just down to those 1v1s now.
Indeed, I mean, looking at this 1v1, they've got over the bridge over the wall some position here for them. We're even going to jump towards Watch and Learn, skipping between 2 potential fights here. Watch and Learn also looks like they're pincered between 2 teams. Could be interesting to see how they will navigate their position. We can see the side of Demuerte just outside of their door, trying to circle around and find a position over his hill to enter in onto Elena's position. Watch and Learn stuck in these houses for the moment. And for now, they're alive, but Kita losing 1. This could be the first knock. It looks maybe for Demuerte to go for a bigger push here. They have to also be careful of any other teams around this area looking to potentially finish this one through, sending the nades as they step forward from these directions. All 4 locations here, Netura being pincered.
They did get that revive though. De Muerte, I'm not sure what they're doing, to be honest. Really not. They wanted to be moving on, it seemed. It looked like they were disengaging completely, but now they're back and they're a bit half-hearted while they're at it. But nothing half-hearted about Celinda. They're coming in, getting rid of another player of SBG. And unfortunately for SBG, somebody is up on Shelter, completely third-partying them as Watch and Learn go down one by one. A great nade from De Muerte coming in there, but she got the knock beforehand, so there's no real gain in there. I think it's still 2v2. But the angles are good. Again here, we're seeing good angles from either side of these teams, and they are able to hold their own.
The problem here though for Watch and Learn is Demoworthy. They're together though, Neptura, and they're able as a team to make those revives if one of them does get knocked. The other hand of that though for Watch and Learn, they aren't in the same building. They separated around a smaller compound, so when one of those players are getting knocked, they can't make that revive. They can't of course walk from one building to the next because Demoworthy are there as well. So it is actually going to be a 2v4 now is a situation for Watch and Learn because they couldn't finish off those initial knocks that they were able to find onto Demoworthy.
Yeah, that's exactly why Demoworthy are able to get a full reset going on here, and now it's going to be really hard for Watch and Learn to do anything, especially split the way they are. You are going to be seeing Nikki coming in there with that nade. That's probably going to be a good one. Yep, it lands really, really well there. All of a sudden, Oslam is no longer with us. What a nade. Knights, hello? Well done.
Look, one of these other teams is we get to see the rest of these teams as well stepping into today. And TPS moving forward here as well, even around the side of Foreign. Foreign, a little bit of a problem here, trying to navigate where they wanted to be around this position of the building. And TPS sneak one in. The initial knock going through to TPS.
Yeah.
And now
TPS, a really good team. We've seen them do some really, really good stuff before. They're always very confident in those fights, and they need to be especially confident now because that hardship is going to make them get this move on. Really good work there from Damla. She's going to take them out, and that is going to be 4 taken away, down and out. 1 elimination, so at least it's not a 0-point game, but that was a very clean fight from TPS.
Yeah, I mean, TPS here just got a better Foreign. They really weren't expecting a team to be there. They just weren't aware of the situation and focused up into this game as much as they should have been. Pay for it with their lives. Very early escape here out of game 1. I mean, it is these teams as well. The bottom 3 teams that we were questioning to get those points in, all eliminated so far, Neptura. SBG, Foreign, Watch and Learn, these were the 3 that needed those points. So all of them going out. Disappointment, I would say, for them, because really if 2 of them went out and the other one gets loads of points, suddenly they're saving themselves while the other 2 are still stuck in that bottom.
Ooh, Demuerte, they're gonna have to have a little bit of more careful plays coming in here. You can just see Fair coming in here, moving in on that rotation. Oh, but that's a horrible spot to be in. I think they must have spun out or something. There's no way they got a vehicle there, and they are gonna lose one as a result of that. Gonna try and get her back, but there's nothing they can do there. Yagi gonna go out, and actually that's all of them cleared up. Just like that, there is no way. But there is, because Fair are out, and Demuerte now have 10 eliminations with 14 teams left.
Look, I mean, they're already on a rampage here for Demuerte. They took out one, now they take out another. And especially for Fair, that was also a big decision through from them on terms of the overall standings, right? I mean, Demuerte, Fair much higher in those standings, are able to take down Fair and get those eliminations. Fair will fall down in those leaderboards overall. Langers needing those points too. Currently overlooking here X. Not going to go for the push just now here, because they also on the side. And Neptura, we're looking here at a lot of these teams positioned around the shelter area. I'm curious and how they're going to navigate this space. The zone has been shifting towards the shelter, and there is the underground available to these teams. Are they potentially going to be using this underground if the zone continues to move in towards it?
I honestly, especially if I were a lower placed team right now, I definitely would be trying it. You are going to have the issue where teams may end up actually preempting that play by using their vehicles to block up the exits there. And in that sense, you're kind of just stuck. But it could be a popular method just to make sure that you have that longevity, right? Just to make sure that if the zone does go that way, all the teams fight out above you. And if you're a solo or something, yeah, that's definitely the way to go forward. I think if you've got more than 2-3 people, you may be wanting to actually grab some points in different way, but it's a possible play that I could see somebody starting to do. Who is going to do it? I don't know. It's going to be what we have to find out if the zone goes that way.
Yeah, I mean, stage 4 already. 1.5 minutes before that next phase does go through. It has shaded just north of the shelter area, so it is going to be edging itself away from that more open area of shelter, where teams will be more looking around that underground, of course, if it is to avoid that very open, barren area, that space that you can see just towards the south side of his zone. I mean, you can see how open it is from some of those peaks, glances from the hill of shelter itself. Them are actually going to lose also one as they step into the open area. They are silently here. Just one knock for now. They have lost one of their own, so it is going to only be a 1-for-1 trade. And Demorete, meanwhile, as they fight, TPS also going to lose one, and it will be the elimination coming through for Flex.
It will indeed. Their first point on the board so far. Good for them. And yeah, see, you're starting to see already teams hiding their vehicles, but at the end of the day, blocking off all those exits. So it's going to be difficult to actually get inside of shelter now, probably. So yeah, we're probably going to see an outside play here. The zone does seem to be going kind of that direction, though. So Prison is outside of the zone right now. That's why you can see BRX starting to make their move inside. You got Mansion as well over there. So a lot of these teams going to be moving in. I think this eastern side is going to be pretty busy.
Yeah, I mean, especially with eastern side as we move in, coming into that open space, there's the road there as well, Neptura. There are some forests, there is some tree line for these teams to utilize. The trees, though, they ain't going to be able to cover all that much. It's really just about blocking a bit of the terrain, and it is, apart from that, overall pretty flat here. You can see as these teams stepping down, some elevation also on that northern side of the zone. Teams might want to utilize that. You can see Shockwave were a position there around the hillside as other teams on that northern end, like Mad Bulls, for example, opting to stay outside of the zone for now as much as they can. Try to find a new, better position later on once the zone closes in, and maybe there's less players overall inside the play area.
I would kind of agree with that, especially when you realize how open it all is up on the northern side, right? Not Mansion, but more northwestern. Oh, Barce doing the best she can and gets another knock. I'm not sure if she was able to put that into an elimination, but she does do her best, but goes on out there. And immediately after them, we lose Lex here as well. So down to just a few now as the zone again starts to hard shift. This is where it's really starting to make these teams hurt. And yeah, I don't disagree with Mad Bulls and the like actually staying as far away from the zone as possible for the meantime, because this is what's happening on the south and the eastern side. If they can hold on that north west and then maintain that northwestern side, they will be good to go.
Yeah, and they'll also be able to catch those later rotating teams as well who are making that big break, making the big moves to try run into a zone on a flank, and then they can take advantage, capitalize maybe on those teams not being as prepared. But then I'd say only increasing that elimination score line ever more as they'll take another 2 eliminations for themselves. Flex still on that one. Down on the south side, stuck in shelter here it seems to be. Really don't know how these teams here in Neptura are going to be able to navigate moving up in towards that zone. That road, particularly, is going to be such a crux in these teams moving into zone, where there is that open space that they've got to cross.
Yeah, gonna be super, super difficult here. TPES have a little bit of an easier time, right? They can just go to that eastern side and they'll have the cliff area to kind of shelter them as much as possible, no pun intended. But Flex really have a hard job ahead of them. Bonfire, not so much. They're gonna be able to. That's not Bonfire. That's LGS rather. They're going to be able to kind of gatekeep this, and that's going to be where their strength lies, right? They can't really rely on rotating very early. They're going to have to try and get as many points on that gatekeeper.
And Muerte finding one onto Kometsu. Freeps almost falls as well. Muerte continuing to punish this lobby in the first game. Melissa alongside Nikki here, really on the tear. Nikki already up to 6 eliminations, vying for this MVP in this first here. Neptura, they will fall though. Kasei, they look like they'll be the ones alongside Psyche to be able to take them out, and perhaps too much going in towards his center of the zone. They were too hasty. Demorete, big slip up there as they lose outside of the placement points available to these teams. Still, there were several teams above them alive. They'll not get any placement points. Now we'll start to move into that placement point area, though, as teams pick up those points. TPS, also Barce falling away. Langers fighting around here inside of Kasei, looking around that museum area for a newer position inside of his zone. And in that north side, these teams who thought they were having that zone move towards them, it's gone back down one more time here, Neptura. And Mad Bull's really one of those teams who have been caught out in the open away from this space and zone.
It is a shocker that De Muerte did go out there. 14 eliminations, but we have to move forward, right? They can think about it and move into Miramar as we move into almost the top 5 here. Just 7 teams remaining. We got 2 solos as well. As the nades keep flying, I gotta say, Kyuze doing a really good job of defending this. Yes, it's only Letty left alive, but she is alive, and those nades are ensuring her survival at least for a little while longer. So she's actually doing a really good job over here at Walmart, which is notoriously difficult to defend.
Yeah, here Dreamers also inside of his zone, one of the few teams who are able to survive in this space. But for now, they will be all they get because they are falling down to Kasei, and Kasei inside of this zone, should I say. Actually, it was Dreamers who were outside. My apologies. It's now Kasei have to defend their position inside of his zone. Is a new shift. It will go towards them. Shockwave as well, stuck on the outside. Trying to figure out a spot to move. It really is going to be them just surviving as long as they can. Langer's Blitz, a potential big game as well for them, is holding on to this museum still here. What all matters, you could call it, Nevtura. And they're holding on to it for now, and alongside that wall, that entrance, keeping good security for this team and avoiding that open expanse of all of those teams outside, trying to make an inside of the zone. Langer's Bliss stepping up here for Shockwave as they'll now make their move in.
Yeah, Shockwave in an incredible position here points-wise. 9 eliminations, top 3 position. This is what they needed so badly, right? It's not been easy for them, but they do go out there. Top 3 is going to be all they have, but it is enough for the first game. Now it's just up to LGS and QZ Esports, right? Lots of eliminations on both sides. They're not hurting for points right now, but it is a 3v1. Letty is still here. Highland, can she get the first? She does.
Yeah, she's trying. I think she gets 2. Oh, it's down to the 1v1. Can they find it with the DPS? And shooting the shots through into the smoke. Laggers, they're going to rely on his zone now to do the work. And Letty's so low, stepping in, trying to stray through into the smoke for the shots. Jumps over the wall. For the 1v1. They can find it, though.
My God.
And Kasei steal it in a 3v1. I don't know how they managed that, Neptura, but it is the ability of that one-shot potential. And Kasei proved when you got the right gun in hand, you can take those 3v1s and surprise.
You know what's crazy about that is that LGS didn't even do anything wrong there. They pushed together, they were looking super aggressive. When they started to get knocked, they pulled back immediately, tried to regroup. They did all the right things, and it wasn't even a question of losing the 1v1 because it's a DBS. If you hit your shots right, there's no coming back from that. And Letty was able to do so. She got so many points off the back of her just being a solo, straight from Walmart into the final of the game. And a 1v3 to top it all off is a great way to start the night.
Oh, but that's gonna hurt for Langer's
I
Bliss. They
know.
had the win in their arms. It dissipated away
Yeah.
from them. And losing also 3 elimination points. And that also the placement points too. That's a lot of points swinging over to Kasei and keeping them still in around that top position for them. Because Langers, they were looking for every point they could also grab in his first game with that performance to get up towards that top 3 area after that first game.
Yes, indeed. And interestingly enough, this is our smallest point to win ratio, right? 18 points is not a whole lot when we've seen what was been happening before with these girls, but it is certainly enough, especially how Letty did that. I'm not gonna bash them for that. That's an incredible feat, and they've done a really good job, especially considering, right, that QZ, where are they in the current leaderboards? Second place, right? Only 4 points behind Mad Bulls, and we didn't really see much of Mad Bulls there, so definitely where they needed to be for the first start of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, here also big elimination distance coming through from them, as we say. Also, the total healings, the throwables, not as much. I think also down to the fact that so much damage occurred in this group for his first game very early on, Neptura.
Yeah.
It was so many of these teams losing out quite quickly. I mean, Demerati is a great example who were taking out so many of those players. 14 eliminations. They had 10 already within the first few phases of the match there on Erangel. The MVP, though, got to be Letty, of course. It was looking like others, but now after that final performance at DPS 1v3, you can't give it to anyone else.
Oh, 100%. 8 eliminations coming in from her, and ding, 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 already this evening, we get to put a bell of 1,000 damage, because there you go, 1,174 going her way, so big GG's going over to her. Gotta say, though, Nikki as well doing some great work for De Muerte, 905 damage and 6 eliminations. So, De Muerte is that team that had 14 eliminations rather before they did go out a little untimely. But yeah, they were doing some really good work, really good damage, and you can tell that they're really in it to win it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, here Caramelia as well in that third position for the player focus. Reaps also for Sly and the rest in following up as we move through, though, to our match standings here, Neptura. So we can say, of course, at that top position at the end of game number 1, Shockwave, though, also in that second position. They were also doing well. And I think, unsung performance that we have to mention, Neptura, for them, they were really struggling. We mentioned coming into today from those first 5 games, this is a type of Shockwave that we were sort of expecting to see.
Right, exactly. It's a really good start for them, a great boost, especially in their mentality, right? You got to think about how they were not performing as well as they would have liked in the first day. And now to come in here with a top 3, 14 total points is almost double what they had in the first day in total. So it is really where they needed to be. And mentally, that's going to be boosting them so much coming into the next 4 games.
Yeah, and even here, TPS Mad Bulls falling as well. Mad Bulls down in that 8th position, of course. They too going to now give way to some of these other teams who are picking up those points in that match. Unfortunately, not everyone can pick up those points. And as we said, a lot of those teams who fell very early on were the teams who also needed those points to pick themselves up after a rough day 1. And now even teams like Barce, right, dropping down with that poor performance in this first game so far, they give way, as we say, to some of those other teams who are making those big performances, like Shockwave and like Langers.
Indeed. Indeed, we'll see how these teams go on in Miramar. You know, it is a very different game. Yeah, you see it there, though. QZ coming in there, 10 points. They were 4 points behind Mad Bulls, and now they're 10 points ahead of them. So, a really big change coming in here. Shockwave as well, moving over to that 10th place position, 33 points. They came in here with 16, and, you know, TPES and Lex as well, looking really, really good there. SBG unfortunately unable to do much more than the 16th place they already had, but it is an improvement from day one anyway, so that's okay. You got a lot of ties there as well, so very, very interesting. We're keeping those really close scores coming into that Miramar, and I think it's going to be really, really interesting to watch how they perform, because we had some big action right from the start in Erangel. Will it be the same in Miramar? We will have to answer that question right after the break, so stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
alright. I'll be there, I'll be there. I'll be there when the lights don't shine. I'll be there in the sleepless nights. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be there, I'll be I'll be there when the lights don't shine. I'll be there in the sleepless nights. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be there, I'll be there. I'll be there when the lights don't shine. I'll be there in the sleepless nights. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be there, I'll be looking at me like you're scared. Baby, come on over here, I won't bite now. You've got all that mystery locked inside, you gotta see. Do you wanna stay all night? 'Cause I'll be there when the lights don't shine. I'll be there in the sleepless nights. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be there, I'll be there. I'll be there when the lights don't shine.
Alrighty, everybody, here we are once again, ready for game number 2. It's only been one game. It feels like it's been a lot. We've seen so much action so far tonight, but we are so ready for it, aren't we, Highland?
Look, I mean, we're also looking at a big performance coming through from the side of Letty at game number 1. And now, got to see if they can keep that up coming into Miramar, because Miramar, as much as the DPS works in close range, it's a lot more open of a map here on the desert. So it's all about teamwork. It's all about keeping that team alive, of course, because keeping those players alive will allow them to keep control of the map and hopefully see that win this time around on a much more open area.
100%. It's gonna be a certainly going to be quite an interesting map coming forward. I do think we're going to be seeing similar things to what we saw in the previous game. I think teams are not going to really want to wait around. I think they want to get going. They want to get the action. And that might actually prove to be some of those teams' saving graces, right? Maybe they weren't adapting all that well to the slower pace of the of day one that we saw kind of coming in here, which was a bit of a surprise for me, particularly because I'm so used to them going all out here. Certainly more like what we saw in game number 1. As we get into game number 2, Highland, it's looking like it's going to be a real fun time.
Yeah, and as we enter into this plane path, you can see it's coming through Los Leones. It's going to be very southern plane path here, jumping all the way over towards, as you can see, down to the prison area in that South Island. Some of these teams, really South Island lovers, we saw it, was it Group A that we saw a lot of these teams down towards the south side in that South Island? Might have been, it was one of these two groups, and this zone, however, most of the time so far has been going opposite end of Miramar for these last 4 games of the tournament. It's been much more towards the north side, where we've seen that contention towards the end, or towards Picado Hill, even in the center.
Yes, indeed. And we are going to be seeing where that zone goes very, very shortly. There it is, just as I say it. We are looking up towards the northern side there, a little bit more towards that eastern side as well. So you don't have places like Monte Nuevo and El Pozo coming into effect. Neither is Chumi really inside this circle. So the majority of the teams that moved in late on that east-western side will have to move in, but at least for them, it's got the entire northern side free and ready for anybody who wants to take it.
Yeah, and as now we're looking with Barce here and Watch and Learn. A few of these teams, even Sly, around the area of Impala, stepping up and looting up here around the village, if you like. Is it a village? What? There must be a Spanish term for that here, Nepturo.
Yeah.
If you've got a small little few series of buildings, it's not a town, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
If anyone knows what it is, write it in the chat. I would love to know. I'm convinced there's a name of it. If it's just the Spanish version of village, that also works. I would be slightly disappointed. I'm expecting something fancy now.
Yeah. I mean, I can't help you there. I know no Spanish whatsoever, so I'm not going to be a help there. In French, it would be a village, so that's about as far as my knowledge goes with this sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's kind of.
You gotta say it in a French way though, Nepturo.
Okay,
like a
fine.
village.
Ouais,
like you know, like draw it.
Yeah,
and draw
village.
it out.
It would be a village.
Yeah. Oh. That's the French. I used to do like 1 year of Spanish, so that was several years ago now in high school. Makes me feel old thinking about how long it's been since I was in high school. Oh goodness!
Tell me about it.
Yeah, been a while since I did my Spanish. Much more fluent around the German and some of the French that I also learned in university, but. Spanish it ain't my forte if we keep towards the French.
Yeah, totally. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I really want to learn more languages. I like languages, but I'm not very good at learning them. So it's a bit of a 50-50. But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. These girls, multilingual, they know their own languages, and they also know PUBG, right? Because strategy is a language all on its own.
Of course.
So, was that a good segue?
I'm not fluent in that language. I'm not fluent in that language whatsoever. There's a reason, of course, always I say when I watch PUBG Mobile, I've never actually competed in any of these tournaments. I'd be way too scared. The pressure as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Maybe we should just make I was gonna say maybe we should make a like commentator like team or like a caster team, you know?
That'd be so much fun.
With a bunch of us. But then there'd be no one to cast. So
True.
If we go in game, we could cast live for the action. You know, like those wildlife documentaries where we're like we're in the scene. We're right beside like the animal in the wildlife documentary. Yeah, like that could be us.
Yeah, 100%. That would be so much fun. Oh yeah, but we see actually no action coming in through here, Highland. We've got nothing. Everybody's still alive. No one's knocked. We got a couple of damage players here and there, but nothing particularly of interest. So far, girls better step it up. It's boring. I'm joking. We do have 4 and Flex both here right now in Minas Generalis. You do see Sly as well trying to creep up onto Watch and Learn. So we'll see how that turns out for them. At the moment, Sly kind of look like they have the upper advantage here, but Watch and Learn do have the advantage of those buildings, right? They are safely behind walls that aren't going to crumble if a bullet hits them. So I think they should be okay for now. We're probably looking at a little bit of a standoff, at least until the next zone pops up.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at these teams, they don't really want to move on their position, right? I mean, Watch and Learn, they've got this 2-2 split. They potentially lose one of these players earlier on, could be detrimental for them. Watch and Learn getting caught, though, here by Slime Machine. Freeps very carefully navigated around the backside of that fight around the town of Impala and was able to find that first knock. Now, perhaps Slime will move in for the eliminations that they found the initial one on the church. Revive should come through as well, though with Watch and Learn, as it isn't so much of a quick push. Kimetsu also coming around the back end as well on the other side of the mountain.
Yes, indeed. You see in the kill feed as well. One of the SBG girls doing some damage, getting an elimination. So that's going to be our first blood of the evening. And Bonfire, there we go. Another one going down there as this scrap between these two teams is just getting started.
Indeed, and here SBG holding the fort, as it were, this big mountain around the La Bandita crater. And Bonfire opting to go inside the crater. You can see Celinda looks to be grabbing a vehicle and recouping towards Mia of Bonfire. Get that revive back up, but this is what SBG want. They want that bait of the knocked player to try find a second, but they run out of ammo in the clip and they can't find the knock. And now Bonfire, they make that revive come through. They've got the back end support as well, the pre-fire coming from Lara. In SBG, they just can't quite find that knock in time. Revive comes through and Bonfire back up to 3.
Yes, indeed, a good response from them. There's a little bit of distance in between these two teams. They do have that freedom. They do have that space to move around and try and do their best for their team. Nice little off angle coming in from Nina, but yeah, that distance we mentioned before is just going to be a little bit too much for a knock there. So I doubt there's going to be anything going in with that. But what Bonfire may actually end up finding is that they go straight into Minas Generalis with all of this going down as Langer's Bliss. Oh dear, down to QZ there. Loses one already, so Melzy going to be picking up that elimination. And it looks like that's a rotational elimination coming in here as they try and move into zone.
And Kasey just been all done. I mean, Letty was... She put the DVS per onto Langer's Bliss, and now they're chasing him down in the next map afterwards. Bianca's even here now, and for Langer's... It's the same issue here, the same team. They've used a lot of their utility, you've got to believe, in this early portion of the game to keep themselves safer now. No vehicle for them and no way out here for Watch and Learn. As Sly are pushing in down, one player already for Watch and Learn. Steners holding on for the meantime. They'll lose one as Sly grab the first elimination. And this 2-2 split, not going so well here for Watch and Learn, with Sly pushing in, finding that another knock onto them. Kasey, meanwhile, as much as they were chasing, here comes Demuerte, our most really aggressive team from our first game. Hungry for even more here on the desert. They're going to look, as the Spanish name, looks for the Muerte, looks for the death, but they can't find it just yet. We'll have to ping back over to Sly, who are now knocked as Watch and Learn, firing back.
Yes, indeed. A really nice little AK spray here. And this is what you want to see from Watch and Learn, right? They've retreated a little bit in that they have lost 2 of those players. Is unfortunate, but they've actually baited their enemies into that building and they're able to spray them down. Same sort of thing happening here, base. Barce and SBG, they're now moving up against each other. Bonfire is a thing of the past. It's all about Barce now. As we look to another nade getting poured over the ridgeline. Not going to quite hit, but it is giving them time to get this revive up on their own.
Barce very aggressive initially on that push, right? They were going straight on into the hill to try to punish SBG. They will find that one with the shots for now. Barce, Scylla also on another angle, trying to pincer the side of SBG. Gotta be careful stepping up too far, but you can see those shots as well coming in return. And even here some more as SBG trying to find that flank. They found the 1-for-1 trade so far, but now SBG is 2 remaining together. And with that, Barce can start to close in on that one location. They're gonna find another and bring it down to even 1 here for SBG. It's just not looking that great at all. A second game in a row that they'll be struggling, as they will be the first ones out, alongside another one here is Watch and Learn simultaneously also fall to Sly.
Yeah, good effort from Watch and Learn. I did appreciate how they were playing that, but at the end of the day, you are going to have a 4v2 advantage, and so Sly made full use of that. GG's. They got a decent spot inside of Zone. Zone in recent history has tended to favor Impala a little bit, so if that's anything to go by, they're in a decent spot for the next couple of zones. I also like what Shockwave is doing. We see them coming up around water treatment, and they have a really open area. Now, mind you, a lot of those teams further into zone are up on some high ground, so it may not be as clear as it looks, but for now at least it's a decent play.
I mean, is that what we're saying? That the zones being going closer to Impala? Someone's being giving it a little Impala, a little bit of the L dollar, not sure. Is that what's been happening in bribing that location? I mean, we can always go to Los Leones. I buy part with Los Leones, as you know. If we really want to go down there, we can talk about that the game before. We can speak, we can whisper to the zone gods for later on for that one.
100%. Yeah, that used to be my old teammates' main drop was the crates over by Los Leones to the west.
Oh, in the north? Yeah.
No, the west.
Oh,
So,
yeah, what a northwest. Yeah, with the mountains. Yeah.
So it was a really good spot for us, and it worked out well, but that was back in 2019, so strategies have come a long way since then, and so I think maybe that might not work so much anymore, particularly for these girls. As we get into, the later stages of the zone, that was our drop spot, right? There was no one really there. When you get into stage 4 or 5, it's so open, so it's not really going to work out just the same. But speaking of old strats, Highland, what is this 2018 season 1 strat of all 4 players in one vehicle?
Look, I mean, this is a confident strategy. It's what it's called, Neptura. In top leagues, they may not be as familiar with this strategy. It's actually a very effective one in some ways. Maybe not all positive. It's very effective, at least. And speed running the game. This is how you get to the end of the game faster.
I suppose they're looking for that golden Hacienda, golden Murado over in Hacienda. I read the little yellow Murado now. It's not golden, 10 cent. Why would you do this to us? But we'll see how that works out for them. Hopefully they'll get another vehicle somewhere. Dreamers, they're a 3rd team here in that Minas Generalis area. We're seeing a big cluster towards that part of the zone because it is in the center. The zone pushes up and a little bit away from that area, actually, but the majority of those teams that actually moved in there are in a great spot to gatekeep.
And here, the zone's shifting down in towards the end of the Minas area, and now even up past Impala towards really those mountains, actually, right towards the coastal line. It's really about looking past that road above Impala and towards that northwestern area. You can see teams maybe looking for that hillside and those ridges that provide some coverage for these squads. Down towards that south end, curious to see if teams will stay there, though. It could shift back towards that area, and equally as much as those hills northwest do provide some cover, right? And I'm sure they could be detrimental in trying to get out of that area in that tricky terrain with teams already surrounding you, if it does, of course, ping back towards that southwest.
Yeah, gonna be a difficult one to navigate. Sure, 4 got a great little spot there, but Lisa trying to hold them off. It looks like one of their teammates got just a little bit too confident, maybe too reckless, coming out there trying to get that really big off angle where really the height is going to be their best friend here. You got a full squad looking up at you, but 4's problem here is that they are getting gate kept, so they really need to fix this issue quickly. They only have a minute until the zone starts coming in.
And that is gravity right there as well from the Shockwave. Well, it almost worked.
Okay.
Gravity did take effect eventually. We're gonna go up again for attempt number 2. I forgot they could do this for a short while.
I think she got it.
Yeah, it deserves, at that point, if you try a few times, it's deserved that you get it if you're so close. Unfortunately, for Shockwave, so close to that car, and it's not a good thing, as Purple will be able to find that elimination and that knock through. So that's going to be 1 elimination point going towards them, because they also moving here with Purple further in, looking perhaps for
Oh, this
this push onto
beautiful from
Shockwave. Could be
QZ.
an ambitious push again.
I actually love this island from QZ. Look at that high ground that they've got going on. It's going to be perfect for gatekeeping. They do have to be careful a little bit about 4 here, but I think Shockwave got wind of this very early on and just skipped town, which is the best option for them because they would have been dead in less than 30 seconds, I think, if they had allowed QZ to push up on them like that.
Yeah, I mean, that hillside, I mean, you would have been really hoping for that third party, right, of course, to start to fire down on you, to have some respite. And even then, you're in the open. You have the side of Foreign there. They could also shoot down onto, of course, the side of Shockwave. So it could be pretty disastrous. Still, QC want to move further, and eventually they are actually outside of the zone on the nice part of that coverage on the ridge. So they will have to get a little bit uncomfortable with Foreign beside them coming into that zone, and may want to push deeper into the zone for a better location where they might not be so pincered by the side of Foreign on that hillside.
Well, only 15 more seconds until a new zone pops up. That could be what Barce are waiting for, right? Just getting in on the edge of this zone, but they're not taking any fights just yet. You're starting to see them go off in the kill feed, though. Mad Bulls, one tap, looking like she's blowing up something over near her, so looking good there. De Muerte feeling the effects of that, unfortunately. The zone centers up, though, Highland, so Junkyard no longer in it, and thankfully for most of these teams, they are going to be able to grab a small ridge or a little bit of a dip for themselves. There is cover here to work with.
Yeah, there's nice coverage as well. Around actually Sly, I really like the hills just above that series of buildings. It was a little flat area with a few buildings there on the edge of the hill. If you actually go a bit above them on those hills as well, just beyond, a bit north of there, there's a really nice location where you can start to pincer down onto teams with the cover you get on the hills. If it gets a bit dicey or you need to finish at the end of the game with a bit more cover, you can then dip back down into their homes as well. So it gives some options there for Sly. Will be interesting to see if teams also rotate around that northeastern area of the zone as well. Maybe also looking the likes of Mad Bulls to come into that area too.
Yes, indeed. I mean, BRX having a great position here in this new zone, but again, you know, you see it time and time again. You've got to be very, very careful of how you play the next few minutes, because now everybody's looking at you. BRX and QZ being the next to fight, as we see DMS and Fairway get underway with this fight here on the south edge of the zone. It could go well for Fairway, actually. They're using their nades really effectively here, trying to hide any potential lurkers up on the top, trying to get rid of any entrances that may stand in their way. They're getting any cover from those entrances as well, but for now DMS are holding strong. They look okay.
Yeah, Dreamers for now not going to be in too much issue with Fairway. They still got to get into the building. Both of them at a bit of a standstill as well with the zone covering both for now. Fairway, they're going to look for that initial knock. They won't go in, I imagine, without that first knock. Fortunately here also for AOR, they're also going to be struggling here with Mad Bull stepping onto them inside of the zone. Also pinned by Red Road makes it slightly more difficult for the side of AR to be able to step down and get into a position into that zone. You can see how tricky it was for him to navigate into some sort of cover with that more open area around the road, really exposing them as they entered in there.
Oh, that could be a really good nade. As you see, Barze actually nading a teammate there in the kill feed. That's an interesting play. One way to win a game for sure. The zone again goes up to the north, so away from this fight completely, but that could be good. Oh, it's a little too far. Lycius is a little bit closer than that, but they've got actually a really good split going on here. It really means that Fairway are unable to push into the building at all because of those different angles they got going on, but never mind. Barbie does get taken out there very quickly, and that is DMS taken out. Once one side of that line was taken out, it was very easy for the rest of them to fall. Fair going to be able to get their teammate back up as well, so nicely done, but I think well held by DMS.
Yeah, good hold for them for now. Gets the fruits of the rewards as best they could, but for Fairway, they are the ones who come out on top with that position. TPS also holding in here for now. Outside of the zone, as it has shifted up towards the north here for phase 5, and TPS need to move fast. They are taking out Sly on the road towards the zone. Also, they too, the Foxys, moving their way in. However, for Sly, it's going to be a rough one, as they will have to dodge out of that nade in time. It looks like they have Mad Bulls in the fight versus the trenches of Shockwave. And Amaya barely going to keep himself alive for now, and Shockwave holding on as best they can. Mad Bulls Leora separated from that team as well, trying to flank from the back end of Shockwave's position to create some more space and ability for Mad Bulls to move in here.
Yes, indeed. It's all kicking off now. 11 teams still alive, so that's a lot of players. 30 right now inside a stage 5 zone. So there's a lot of open space that these teams have to navigate, and quite a few full squads as well. We currently have 3 on the board right now. As you see, TPES moving in just slightly into zone, got a good little ridge to cover themselves with, and actually this ridge right now is a really good spot to cover over onto fairway.
Yeah, I mean, right, Mad Bulls moved right all the way up in towards, or Sly moved up into Mad Bulls here all the way up there. So it gave the option there for TPS to be able to take that little ridge on the edge of the zone. It moves up once more north, though, and now TPS have to move even further. Now, they just established their first position here inside of the old zone. Fair, though, in their way on the other end, Wilson and Nate tickles a little bit of Alexa's health bar here, and Sly, who have opted to take out here somewhat of a fight of the Mad Bulls, also breathe some space on towards that northern end, but they are silently. Therefore, the last one is it will be the side of Kasei who picked that one up.
They do indeed, but Letty did go down there. I'm not sure if she's out. She was our 1v3 winner in the last game. I'm not sure if she went out just yet, but she is down according to the kill feed. But Yagi still trying with those nades, your teammates as well as Fairway really putting up a fight here. I appreciate them from that, but oh my goodness, the nades are doing their work right now. TPES getting taken out one by one, but Cupquake coming in for the rescue.
And that's a brilliant little bit of a spray there over the peak. They find 3. TPS setting the nades in to finish off their health bars. Make sure no revive's going to happen. They're down to 1 there. It looked good, but it's turned into an absolute disaster for them around this side of the zone. They're going to even just let the zone finish them off here. The last player alive. They're trying their best, but that zone hurting Lexa. She needs to get into the zone. It's chasing away from her. Can she get back in? It looks like she might have just been able to. No, she will fall to that play zone. So it is decided TPS really struggling there as he'll fall down to 1, better keeping himself in. Kasei up to 11. Now Sly also up to 6 eliminations. That's all they'll get is Mad Bulls finishing up the rest of the Vixens as they move their way 2 into the zone. Kasei continuing to spray down with now their 12th.
My goodness, 12 eliminations. They're really getting those back-to-back results for themselves, really solidifying their first place position right now. 12 eliminations is definitely more than they need to keep ahead, but with Mad Bulls here with 8 eliminations and also in the top 4, they need to make sure they're keeping ahead of them. So good result for both of these teams. Mad Bulls angry, they're mad even that they've lost their top spot. They're looking for revenge as Amaya takes out Cupquake there. That is going to be TPES out, but with 7 eliminations, it's not a bad run.
Kasei holding this brilliant position on the top of the hill. It's not in the zone. They're holding it though because it is just so detrimental to that lower position. And Kasei even holding here a beautiful position onto Mad Bulls alongside the ridge. They've got some blockade for Mad Bulls to get through, but now Mad make their move. Leora and Maya stepping forward into the zone. Oh, Daddy as well. And 1 tap, holding the line, keeping an eye, trying to peek through those smokes. Trying to also punish, of course, Foreign here, who fall in 3rd. They did their best inside of that shack, but now it stands to the final 2, and there's double digits of eliminations for both of these teams. Both of them just need to finish off this big game here. Nepture and that Molly goes over, and I think they spy them. They find a 1. They find now potentially a second. It's just a finishing blow here for Mad Bulls needed. They've got the 1 on the back as well, as Purple will fall. No surprises here as Mad Bulls. They'll clean up Kasei, and no 1v3 this time. Mad Bulls come with a chicken dinner winner on Miramar. Here even, of course, Mad Bulls winning that game. And also, we've also got to look in the side though of Kasei. Kasei, big second performance there. Keep in mind, they had about those 12 or so eliminations, keeping strong. And Mad Bulls also, with that win, will be able to put themselves back onto that top spot, surely. We're going to have to see how that works through. Neptura is also even Foreign. I think Foreign, you got to also look at them, right? Is that third team, that third position really for them, also going to help them be able to get back up into those top positions as one of the bottom teams, of course.
Right, absolutely. A great game for them. Great game for a lot of teams who needed those points. You saw a lot of eliminations coming up individually for each team, and that is really good to see. Of course, that does mean that some teams are going to be going out of this game with 0 points. That is unfortunate, but it means that the majority of these teams did get points on the board, and they got a lot of them. A lot of teams were trying to follow De Muerte's example from game 1, right, where we saw them get 14 eliminations. So a lot of points coming in here for all of these teams, and a really great job from Mad Bulls to clinch this one. Looking good, Sanhok.
Look, I mean, when you get that type of momentum back coming into the Sanhok, that's really crucial with such a chaotic map coming up. But of course, this map, Miramar, it is going to be the 13 eliminations and those 10 placement points going towards Mad Bulls. That's going to bring them back up to that top spot for sure. You have to also acknowledge, though, Kasei, who were in that top spot coming into this game. I wonder, actually, do they do enough to actually still stay in that top number 1 position? We will have to see. It's between these two teams, really, though, Nepture, after these 2 games, of who's going to be on top coming into Sanhok.
I think QZ have done more than enough, to be honest. Second place with similar amount of eliminations. I think they're going to be just ahead of them. I think they were at least 10 points ahead at the beginning of this game. So, yeah, I think QZ are going to be healthily in the lead still, but they do not want to drop the ball in this next game or even next 2 games. They really want to maintain that consistency, and if they're going to have a bad game, they need to make sure it's after they've had a really good run of good eliminations.
Exactly, and it's also about keeping that consistency to keep within that top 3 as well, because there are those other teams who are coming up behind them. Kasevo doing well with now their 2nd MVP, if we're talking about a consistency of the day. Bianca this time with those 5 eliminations, and another ding dong, 1,000 damage. Neptura, we are ringing that bell every game so far tonight.
We are. I mean, 7 assists, right? So 5 eliminations, she's getting 7 knocks, and she's also assisting 7 times her teammates get their own eliminations. So that is some massive work coming in from Bianca. So a really good job there coming in on this Miramar map. Can they bring it through to Sanhok, though? Because the last 2 games, you're right, been very, very consistent in placement, in eliminations, and an MVP.
And as well, when it comes to Kasei with this momentum as well, it really feels like they're building up that snowball of momentum coming into Sanhok. And these player focuses, we can also see some of these other playmakers when it comes to Mad Bulls and Maya, of course. Sly also making those points work for them, as Linusix is going to get another 4 eliminations for them in that game. And also, keep in mind, TPS, they might not be at the top, but they're also there on the top 5 of the player focus, getting some points there with the eliminations themselves.
Yeah, 100% coming into today. They were 12th place with only 25 points, and that has really shifted in the last couple of games for sure, right? They got some decent points in game one. Here they are again in game two. I think they were top four. So looking really, really good. We will be seeing how that all boils down a bit later, but I'm really optimistic for most of these girls, right? Because I think so far, everyone we've wanted to see do better is doing a lot better. So it is nice to see that, Shockwave getting 4 points, but off the back of a really good game last game is not bad at all. You have Foreign as well with 11 points, TPES with 11 points, Fairway as well with 6. So looking really good on all fronts here, which is nice. But of course, it is going to be Mad Bulls with 23 and QZ with 20. I mean, really talk about, the top 1% there. Most of these eliminations, most of these points are going to those two teams.
Yeah, there was a few eliminations that we got to keep in mind. I mean, TPS, it did get also 7. Sly with 6 eliminations. There's 11, 7 points respectively. Foreign also, as we say, one of the bigger jumps, I think, for them in terms of their tournament so far. 11 points will really help them skyrocket outside of that danger zone within the bottom 3. I also got to, on the other hand, that look inside of SGB and Watch and Learn, because they too have, on that end of it, had really bad games so far in the first 2 matches. Now, Sanhok is always one of those matches that can really change up a way a team can be performing, and I'm hoping we'll see more from them. They're running out of games though now, Neptune, if they want to avoid those bottom 3 spots.
Yeah, it's looking more and more difficult. And unfortunately for them, right, it's looking more and more pressure. Like more and more pressure, right? As you get closer and closer to the end, you've got less opportunity to do really well. And so then that starts affecting your gameplay a little bit more. So they got to be careful of that. Hopefully this next Sanhok, maybe that's where they're really hoping to get all those damage, all those points, and turn the tide of momentum there. And if they are, then hopefully that does go well for them, because they badly need some points.
Yeah, it's well unfortunate there from Langus Blitz, of course, at the bottom of the leaderboard after such a prominent first match in Erangel. Really surprising to see them fall so early. They did actually fall pretty quickly, I believe, alongside Watch and Learn earlier on. It was quite quick. I'm just towards those earlier skirmishes, so just something not quite working out in that early game, and hopefully we're able to shake it off for Sanhok.
100%, but the overall standings are going to be as follows, with SPG moving off the top 16 completely here. You're right, Foreign and AOR did enough to grab those spots from them. Now, Shockwave continue to go up and to maintain their position here. The rest of the teams in between those two looking really good. They've got a decent gap between them and 16th place. They're looking fairly safe right now. I'd say 12th and up are looking pretty darn good for week number 2. But if you move over to first and second versus third, I mean, the gap is getting really big now.
Yeah, and it's really about just trying to keep in terms of those points, because you can, of course, with one chicken dinner, get a really big lead. You can also start making in towards that third position. Second, first, as you rightly say, are going to be pretty difficult to be able to catch now. Mad Bulls and Kasei, after their 2 good performances, Kasei especially these games today. Fairway and then Mowerti, though, I think they also have shown a lot, and Slime Machine also to that extent. So it would be not surprising to me to see those 3 teams really battle it out here as we move on to Sanhok for who starts to claim that 3rd spot towards the finals.
100%. I'm really excited for Sanhok. It's both of our favorite maps to watch competitively, but Highland, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer here, because we will be going for a short break while we get that game set up for you guys, and we'll be back in just a minute.
I'll be there when the secret starts. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be there, I'll be there.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are once again. I can never get that transition right and start talking when we're on camera. It's fine. It's whatever. But we're going to be getting into game number 3 here very shortly. And of course, Highland, it is going to be Sanhok. What could we want more than a good Sanhok game, especially the way these girls have been playing?
It's chaos is what we're wanting here, Nepture. I can feel it in your voice.
Yes.
We're waiting for the plane path to drop down here onto the jungle. And this is where all the momentum we've seen in previous days starts to shift. Hopefully, we can see some of these teams who have been struggling today. Definitely SBG, we mentioned, Watch and Learn. I think also ARR silently. They also have been struggling a little bit here. With that dip after the second game. So these teams, now's their time. If they want to create that chaos as we talked about, if they want to get these elimination points, what a map to do it on.
Indeed. And you got all these teams already going at it, right? They're not messing about. They are getting out of that plane ASAP. We're going to be seeing some hot drops, if I'm not mistaken, to be honest, Highland. We got some teams looking a little too close for comfort here. And as we see the next zone going to pop up in just a second, I doubt it's going to be as bad as what we saw yesterday, right? Where it went over to the island.
Just hold a moment, Nepture.
But have I cast a curse of it? Let's see in just a second here. But looks like boot camp actually is all good, all done and dusted for now. And no one's going to be hot dropping that location, but Shockwave, Lisa, getting a little too close to LGS here.
Yeah, so there is going to be some hot drops happening for now. Shockwave, a little bit of trouble. They're going to have to be careful here. Very split away, Lisa, as you said, with Langer split around that Panan area. Potentially just going to do some scouting for now. The zone is not going to be too bad. Phew. As we're going to be able to see a lot of that main island still available for these teams. A little sliver of that northwestern island available will actually help those teams, especially in the southwest island, a lot. It gives them a lot more choice, right, where they want to go for that first phase. They don't all have to force a way to that main island. They can still wrap around that bridge past ruins, where it could be more unlikely, of course, around that ruins area, teams to be staying for this phase 1 area after maybe any teams, of course, we know there's no one there, after any teams might have finished looting up that area, it would open up that bridge for an alternate, slower way round that could be safer for these squads.
Indeed, but interesting. Yeah, you've only got Lisa damaged, right? If you look over onto the leaderboard, nobody has gotten into a fight yet. It looks like there might be one brewing over here between Slytherin and TPES. But yeah, no one is hot dropping. I thought we were going to see a few more hot drops here, but no, they've all spread out to their own separate areas, and they're just going to loot up and wait. That might be a good idea, actually, though. Highland? Okay. Highland.
Hi. Hello there.
Yeah, hello. Hi, Wolf. Yeah.
Salut. we can say it,
Yeah.
Buenos dias or buenos noches for some of these teams soon.
Sure.
That's what I'm hoping. I want to see some action between Sly here and TPES. We're just coming off, of course, into the jungle battlefield for now. Here's TPS rewrapping their way around Hartin, trying to reroute Sly, as they have lost one into some sort of choke point, but all 4 here members of Sly could prove a bit much for Lexa, who doesn't have any nades, no utility here. Oh boys, would that have been a beautiful nade if Lexa had one, though, as they came around that corner. Sly do need to be a bit more careful as they come around here for any potential utility. Lexa stepping back for now, and for Sly, they'll just push back the side of TPS with those nades. They should be able to grab that one elimination, but there's a skirmish happening here on towards that right side of the fight, and TPS still down there waiting on that left, so potential trap being set up here with that knocked player. Oh. we're having a little bit of a frozen moment. We're not gonna let you go though. It's okay. We still got you here. I'm clinging a hold of your screen, Neptura. I've got it in my hands. I can feel it, the power surging through the call right now. I've got you. I've got you safe. It's okay. We're back on Slime Machine Boat, who haven't opted to go too far into TPS. They are also playing it safe when it comes to their position around Tartin, but they are aware there could be a trap being set up by TPS, who have split though. It's 2-1-1 split. If there's this knock, especially towards that more left side, with Sly now also wrapping around the backside, keep in mind one of their players as well. Freeps here coming in from a new angle. This could start to be detrimental for TPS with now this bigger split they've given to himself.
We're back. Okay. I totally get what you're talking about, Highland.
We're
100%.
We were talking about all the action of Slime Machine. We almost mentioned one going down, and then one almost did.
Yeah.
Kimitsu going to be living on a little bit of a sliver of HP there. Freeps also with that beautiful DBS. We know what that can do after game number 1.
100%, yeah, looking good there. I do appreciate the way TPS have been playing that area against Sly. I think Sly may be just looking a little bit too reckless there, a little too eager. We'll see how that turns out for them as Knights. Thank you, Knights, for giving us our nightly run into a tree, rock, some sort of obstacle. Well done, GG's. But she does have an elimination, so we're gonna have to forgive her.
Props also that we got past Miramar without any of that,
Right?
actually. Maybe the camera folks just didn't catch any of it. They were sneaky this time when they crashed into a mountain or a rock. Fortunately, not so sneaky here with TPS. They have been caught. One will fall in the elimination as Sly come in with the push. They come in with a chokehold for those final 2 players. Kimetsu on the off angle here as Freeps also jumping in for that close quarter combat with the DBS. Kimetsu continuing here to close in. Takes a shot though to the shoulder. Almost one knockdown onto Sly, but not anything too harmful for now on them. Is TPS making that move, get behind the cover of that wall. They will jump and now separate out. TPS may be out of this fight if they can get out of the area for now, but they will lose 2.
Yeah, this has just been dismantled really nicely by Slime Machine. It looks like they kind of went back, regrouped, and now they split up again. It's Lexa, just the last person to fall, potentially, but Gristo does go down, but it's not enough. She will be going out there. Lexa gets taken out by Slime Machine, and I tell you what, 4 eliminations in a full squad, not a bad way to start the game.
Yeah, and also they have to get themselves back together here. You saw Mad Bulls, who also dropped towards that northwestern island side. We saw them in the distance. They're close enough now to where they could start to hear those shots. So Mad Bulls, if they're hungry for that fight, coming towards Hartin as that zone does close in. Now entering into stage 2. Has also gone away though. 500 meters from Sly. We'll have to see where that's gone. Likely more towards, of course, that eastern area. It could have also gone maybe a bit more towards the south as well. Have to see how that also affects Mad Bulls moving in.
Yes, indeed. It looks like Mad Bulls, interesting, gonna be trying to get ahead of the game there. Shockwave losing 1 there. Caramelia going down to Fazir for Barce. Barce been doing a really good job so far tonight, and 2 eliminations on the board so far is not a bad way to start either for this team. They are inside of zone. They don't have anywhere to really go, I don't think. They're just trying to control the area they have.
Yeah, Bossy. Controlling, I think, is what they need to do with this area for now. They don't need to push too far, right? They've got themselves a position inside the zone. They've also got a loot on hand after this stage 2 move has come through. Similar situation happening here for AOR Silently and also Star Blossom, who both on a slight bit of a stalemate here. Now, Chura, all teams just really bird watching for now inside of this tower.
Totally.
Is Elvira. watching that zone has gone towards that more southwestern side, as we did predict. Mabel's coming over that bridge as well. Really will be interesting to see how Sly navigate this now if they go towards that rotation. Madball's sneaking across that bridge could cause some problems for Sly moving into the zone later now.
Could indeed, but we'll see. I do like Mad Bull's 1-3 split coming in there. It's a nice little angle to have in the event that Slime Machine will eventually come over across that bridge, or at least try to cross that river. And even if they go over to the north side on a botation, that's going to look really good for Mad Bulls as well. So a good setup there coming in from them. They're really trying every single game to get as many points as possible, to make sure they're in a position to get as many points as possible, because the gap is still there between them and QZ. So they're going to have to try a little bit harder. You do see QZ, speaking of them, in Paradise Resort, so a good compound to hold in this zone. You kind of just see AOR silently, very silently, having a little look at Bonfire down there.
And this is also AOR silently right within the relegation space right now. So they might not also be wanting to make too big of a move, even if they spotted the side of Bonfire right now and to go on to them, knowing that if that backfires, they've only got 2 games left and they're still going to be within those bottom 3 spaces, of course. Yeah. So it's a big decision to go early on and make those big fights if you don't have the ability to, or the comfort, should we say, of the points already that you've garnered from previous games.
No, absolutely. And this is where you kind of see Mad Bulls taking a few more of those risks, right? Because they are in a position where it doesn't matter, even if they drop out of the top 3, which they probably will not do at this point. They are safe. They're not going to leave the competition at all. But Lex having a really hard time here. Oh, dear me. Lex is going on out there. She's going to get knocked. It's very swiftly followed up by her teammate. So De Muerte doing a good job. 3 eliminations on the board as we lose our second team of the Sanhok.
Yeah, unfortunate here for Lex for TPS, of course, as well. De Muerte, though, and also they're 2 picking up some points, looking for that top 3, of course. They are one of those teams to contest around that top 3 position to make it straight to the final. So every point they can get will matter. Mad Bulls still within this zone, fairly a fair ways out of that zone now, about 900 meters or so, some of them in terms of that distance. So they will need to start to think about moving into the zone eventually, Mad Bulls, to avoid dropping too much of their health. And also, importantly, to keep information, of course, of those teams coming into the edge of Phase 2, Phase 3, where if it does start to shift around a compound, they're going to want the ability to know how to move in towards those areas.
100%. Yeah, Sly in the leaderboard, looking low on that health department. Foreign as well, not looking particularly healthy either, but at least they are in zone. They're in between a few teams there, which is really dangerous, but they've got a building to support them. Flex and watch and learn, having to do a lot of learning here the last couple of days. They're struggling to get these points coming in onto their side, and it looks like this Sanhok is no exception. They lose another one. Oslam does go on out. Nina, though, on the other hand, with the SVG, for SVG with the DBS, that's what I meant, gets the 1. Nicely done. Looks like she's defending it on her own here, Highland.
Yeah, and here is going to be another story of the DBS 1v3, and Langers is happening again for them. Can SVG defend? They've got some teammates coming in, but now it's going to be a 2-piece pop by Langers Bliss, as they'll take through both. Well, you still got Jenny in the bushes waiting for that moment. Jenny steps out, though. The nade scaring her a little bit here. Regrouping, looking for that revive. Will Langer stop the revive coming through? And nade.
That's going to be good.
They can look. Yeah, that looks like it could be on target.
Oh?
It won't, so it will miss.
Odd.
And now the revive comes through. Nina will be revived. Jenny is there. They will lose, though. Another 1 out of that skirmish. So Langers, it's just really that 1-for-1 trade that ends up coming out for both of these teams.
Yeah, unfortunate for both of them that they were unable to really keep that momentum going and keep some points coming in, because SBG really do need it. Langers, yes, they do as well, but I think SBG, if I remember correctly, are struggling the most here. So those 2 points are not going to be enough to secure their position. They need to get a few more. As a duo, it is going to be harder in this one. We still have 55 remaining, right? 16 teams left alive. And as the zone gets closer and closer, there's not going to be any more room for those eliminations to come through.
And with this zone as well, going down into the open is going to be a problem for Fairway, as that has moved away once more. Stage 4 already is speeding up now, Neptura, and Stage 5 is already on its way soon. Slime Machine quite literally trying to speed up this burning vehicle. It is on fire, and Breeps playing with danger will fall inside of that zone, and it is going to be Watch and Learn who pick up that elimination surely for themselves. Fair also finding one of the elimination feed as they move towards the position of that player area. Dreamers can afford to mad balls, and it's all happening around the shop here of Sanhok.
Yeah.
All different areas of its map, players starting to pull.
Yeah, we really see it. You got nades in the corner over there. You got explosions happening every which way. All of a sudden, the teams have just decided it's go time. Mad Bulls here, still 0 eliminations as they look like they're near paradise. So moving away from that northern side as the zone pushes them in. And there you go, the first elimination going over to 1 tap over there. This is a great little hill to have, but unfortunately they are outside of the zone here. So they're going to have to move on in. It's going to be a tough time to have. And Fairway, oh my goodness, what are they doing?
Look, I mean, they've got a fight between Kasei and Bonfire, I think, happening right now. And Fairway just full centered in as a third party is all going a bit chaotic, but goes in Quadra. Letty, you beauty with the 4-piece nade.
What? Okay, Letty, first of all, Queen. Second of all, Fairway, what are you doing? You can't all 4 send into a small shack like that, especially if you're going to third party. You have no idea what's around the corner. And for this case, around the corner is a nade, and Letty with those nades, she's looking really good. I'm surprised she only got 2 eliminations out of that, but you know what? Eliminations are eliminations, and it's going to be enough to keep them ahead of the game. So GG. Certainly not a solo to be messed with, so we'll see what else she can do.
Yeah, I mean, Langer's Bliss as well, stepping into the zone. I'm sorry, that was stolen, those 2 eliminations, Neptura. When do you see a 4-piece nade like that coming through from anyone in any league? Never mind just the PMEWL here.
Yeah, 100%. Langer's Bliss braving the zone here to get that extra nade, but it's not going to really go on anybody. I think they know that Jenny is there, right? But she's not really in any position to do anything about them. She's really going to have to, or rather Langer's Bliss are really going to have to just move out and kind of ignore her for now as they prioritize zone. You do see Slime Machine going out eventually there, still with those 4 eliminations, so no extra points going their way. And yeah, you're seeing a few points going to different teams here as the chaos ensues. De Muerte, though, it centers right up on them. Letty as well, just inside zone. So we will see how this works, because actually, Highland, a lot of these teams are fairly evenly spaced, right? There's no real contention on one side of zone.
De Muerte, though, with the compound in the center here, Neptura, is about defense and defense for the side of De Muerte right now, with everyone around them. Shockwave, a little shack towards the rock here, but one will fall. Lisa already down, and now Shockwave down to the solo, but they find a drop shot. Beautiful stuff here from Amelia. And now Kasei also going to be punishing down Foreign, DMS, Barse, all going to full bow on our screens. There's going to be SPG alongside them, and as that zone comes in, we start to pincer down to our final teams. Kasei holding for now the solo. Letty trying to keep herself alive. She's getting shot at from the side, but she goes back inside of the building. The nade will help finish off at least one of Foreign for now. The door shut. Letty trying to find a new angle, jumps into the vehicle, but a
GGs.
vehicle blows up in Letty's face, and Foreign keep himself alive. Foreign, 6 eliminations here.
Nice.
And for Yaket, now making it a 7th as one tap will fall. Where was this Foreign esports performance just a few games ago?
100%. We're seeing a lot of dwindling teams because most of them in the top 11, there you go. Eliminations bad either way, but most of these teams in top 11 were solos. So you're seeing very quickly these solos get taken out one by one, as you see now Shockwave and Mad Bulls still solos, but the only solos now with Shockwave going out there. 5th place, not bad, but Langer's Bliss, here we go. It's the Team V teams here, and De Muerte getting taken out.
And De Muerte keeping themselves up for now.
GGs.
Langer's gonna fall down into that 4th position, but still a few eliminations alongside them. De Muerte still 2 alive. Within the zone they are. And so here is also the Mad Bulls, a solo on the edge, and AOR silently also within the zone. It's between, though, realistically, AOR and De Muerte for the chicken dinner here on Sanhok. Melita looking over at the solo player as the zone closes in. It's going to go away from both of these teams here, Neptura.
It is just Mad Bull still in it. They're fighting so hard for that 1st place. And she narrowly misses being spotted there. I don't know how they didn't see her, but they're focused on AOR right now. Big nades coming through as De Muerte try to move inside of zone, right? No one's inside of zone with this new circle, and they're all having to move in. This is where Leora is able to move in unseen, but she's got to move in between 2 different teams. She does get seen eventually there, GG, so top 3 gonna be a really good finish for them, but now it is down to AOR and De Muerte.
AOR, this is a big opportunity for them. They are facing the relegation position right now. These points that they've got will help to bring them out, but can they get any more? AOR and Isavo already down, and now goes a 2nd. It is all falling apart as De Muerte come for the prize of the chicken dinner here on Sanhok.
GG.
De Muerte returned for 1, but that will be soon short-lived. It's De Muerte here with the chicken dinner. Neptura, valiant performance from AOR, but De Muerte are looking on form in some of these games today.
100%. Yeah, looking really, really good. You can tell that fight has come out with all these teams, but particularly with De Muerte, with Mad Bulls, and with QC as well, right? You're seeing this different side of them that you'll love to see. Particularly, De Muerte. I mean, I think wasn't it De Muerte coming in there with 14 eliminations in the 1st game? So,
game number 1. Yeah.
So they really came into their own as well here in Sanhok, and a really, really good result is bound to get them really high up there. I think, honestly, Highland, we're looking at now De Muerte being easily safe for week 2.
Yeah, I mean, look, De Muerte with that chicken dinner, with those extra elimination points, they were really looking quite comfortable for not only week 2, but also to contest the finals already and get that golden ticket straight through to the last stage of our tournament later this month. And I think for De Muerte, you can see that hunger coming through from them, but also the hunger coming through from a lot of our other teams who are on the other end of that leaderboard, right? I mean, Foreign, another good performance coming through from them. AOR silently also picking up those points in that 2nd position there. So these teams all still scrapping on both ends of the leaderboard.
They are indeed. And of course, we can't forget Letty, right? Doing work again, 4 eliminations for her team as a solo. I mean, maybe next time for Miramar, they need to just let her go in on her own, because she seems to do enough there to carry the team a little bit further than they normally would. So good job to her. But De Muerte, 20 total points. They're looking very good indeed. 12 eliminations as well. So, they're not waiting for that zone. They're not waiting for that win to come to them. They're taking it by the horns and really making it work for them. So big GG is going over to De Muerte.
Then we're at a big performance, and also it's going to be Barcevo to pick up the longest elimination distance here, 367 meters coming
Jeez.
through from the side of them, and also not a lot of utilities used, not a lot of healing used. It was quite quiet on all fronts of Sanhok until it wasn't,
Yeah.
of course, in towards that phase 4, phase 5 point. We saw a lot of teams dropping quite quickly. There was no time to heal. There was only time for destruction.
Yeah, there really was. That's a huge elimination distance, though, for Sanhok, that you don't normally see it that long. So
True.
that's a GG's coming in from Barce there. But yeah, you're right. There's not a whole lot of throwables being used. I think a lot more people were relying on those weapon skills, the gun skills coming through there. But yeah, I'm wondering who our MVP is going to be. Oh, there we go. It's Sesha from LGS. 3 eliminations. That is crazy to me because you know what that tells me, Highland? It tells me that all of the teams are doing equal work amongst each other, right? There's no one who's getting loads of kills, even to the point of De Muerte with 12 eliminations. There's nobody with like 6 of those. They're all doing their own part.
Yeah, so there was more people with more eliminations. However, I think especially here with the MVP, it's down to, of course, all the stats, right? So the damage, also the several knocks that she was doing. So big playmaking part of her team into getting also Langer's Bliss to those final few teams. Langer's really stepping it up here too when it comes to these few games so far that we've seen already tonight, and hoping that we can start to see them again have a better Miramar performance as well.
100%. Yeah, here you go. 4, 4, 5, 4. So, yeah, she's just putting a heck of a lot of damage in. And, yeah, going very well for them, doing some good stuff. You see De Muerte up there twice. You got Cuse up there as well as Foreign as well. So, yeah, a lot of these players doing some excellent work coming into this. But we've passed the halfway mark, Highland. I mean, we've only 2 more games left for these teams to do anything. This is where it really becomes crunch time, right? Because you've got teams who aren't doing so well, who haven't done so well from day one, that need these points if they want to get out of the bottom 3. And so far, it's not been good for some of them. So you really are looking at the last 2 games potentially even becoming just a free-for-all, and you know what, just do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at these final 2 games, it's, yes, the middle of the leaderboard's going to be quite not too dramatic when it comes to who goes through to the next round, because a lot of these teams going to the same space. It is going to, however, going to affect the top 3, the bottom 3 as well. The bottom 3 particularly surely will be quite close.
Yeah.
With De Muerte, though, AR silently picking up also those 11 points behind the 22 of De Muertes. Mabu also picking up another 10 to keep them still at that top spot is what you're really looking at versus Kosei, who only got 5 points that round. Shockwave as well, alongside Flex, some of these other teams at the bottom, also picking up some points here and there. 5 eliminations there for Flex.
Indeed, yeah, Shockwave as well with only 4 points total out of that. And again, we're not seeing SBG, but you are right, AOR silently doing some really good work there. Some unexpected 0-point placed teams down at the bottom there. You got Dreamers, you got Lex, BRX, and TPES. I tell you what, we have not seen much from BRX so far today. Certainly in day number 1, we saw a lot more from them, and tonight it just doesn't seem to be working out for them.
Yeah, them and also Phantom Lex Slayers have been struggling, especially in the early game. They've been taking some earlier fights. It hasn't worked out for them so far. They may also be a bit more reserved on one hand for these final 2 games. However, the other side of that is you've only got 2 games left, right? So if you want to make sure you can get into that top position in towards stage 2 of the tournament, you really got to turn up the gas, as it were, and be able to get those elimination points. The overall standings here, as you can see, is now BRX, as you mentioned here, in that 16th spot in the relegation area.
Yeah. And with the points, it's getting so much harder, right? Look at the jump we've made. Before tonight, top kind of 12, we're still looking at like 16 odd points. Now, top 12 is 39. So for teams that haven't done all that well, who've only managed to pick up maybe 10 points so far tonight, it's almost game over. Unless they have a fantastic next couple of games, they're really, really going to struggle to make this top 15.
And then here also Demoretti solidified themselves a position inside about top 3 with that chicken dinner. Slime Machine dropping down there to the 4th alongside Barcy. One big game, however, on Slime Machine's part, on Barcy's part, even Langer's Bliss, remember now, also stepping up. They all, even Fairway, could have a good spot at getting into that top 3.
100%.
It's still also playful for a lot of these teams in that 3rd position. And Demoretti, they're not safe just yet. We know what some of these teams, especially Sly, right, who have already gathered a chicken dinner on Miramar, are capable of.
Yeah. 100%. It's going to be a real interesting one as we get down to the wire right now. But I think we will be back. We are definitely going to be back very, very shortly here as we look for our 4th of 5 games coming in here. It is going to be Miramar up next. But until then, we will be going on a very short break. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
I'll be there when the lights don't shine. I'll be there in the sleepless nights. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be there, I'll be there. I'll be there when the lights don't shine. I'll be there in the sleepless nights. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be there, I'll be there.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are once again, back from a little bit of a break, and we're going to be going almost straight into game number 4. It is going to be Miramar, and here we go, Highland. It is the second to last game of Group A.
Look, I mean, it might be 9 p.m., 10 p.m. in Europe here, but I am awake here in Neptune after that Sanhok game.
100%.
Now we're going on to Miramar, though, and it's really coming down to the wire in terms of availability on points for these teams, of course. We've mentioned a couple times that we had to compound the emphasis. That is, there's only 2 games of points for those teams in the relegation space. There's only 2 games for those who want to go straight to the finals, of course, if they can get into that top 3. One good game from a lot of these teams as we were looking at in the overall standings. Barca, Fairway, you've also got Demuerte still within that top 3, but clinging on after really what was a good performance in Sanhok. Yes, they still need to continue another good performance here on Miramar because there are those contesting teams right behind them.
100%. And if you think about, especially De Muerte coming in here, right, after that win in Sanhok, they're looking very, very good to stay in the top 3. They just need to be able to maintain that. So if they have a bad game here, this puts all that pressure onto that final Erangel, and that is not what you want at all. So we're going to be looking especially to De Muerte here to actually be able to hold on to that top 3 position, as well as those teams right behind, as you mentioned, all trying to get that spot. But the playing path is very southern here, and for now, not going to be a huge issue. We are going to see a little bit of grouping up over by Puerto. You have 3 teams over there, and we're looking at 2 more over by Impala. So already, Highland, things are getting spicy.
Indeed, and around really it is a comfortable, yes, playing path. There are so many of these teams, of course, right, who love towards that, to go towards that south side, who love to look especially towards Chumacera as well. You can now see even some love towards there with Langers and TPS taking this location up. Down towards that south side, though, a lot of teams clustered, as you said, around that Impala area, really looking towards the ocean side where that action is.
Yeah. 100%, and that zone is definitely going to favor them. We're looking at a very similar position to what we saw in the last Miramar, but here, watch and learn, already losing Elena here. It's watch and learn and it's Sly all at once as Cena goes on out to a massive nade.
Look, they're already losing 1. They've lost 2. Now, realistically, Sly coming in for the cleanup. That will be another knock, and it's down to 1, unfortunately, already. They're going to make the revive, but it's rough for Watch and Learn, who have had a really rough day overall. They did do this to themselves, so realistically, here, Neptura, Sly, they are going to clean that one up, I expected. So it is Watch and Learn. Dropping in the same location, though, right, Neptura, is not something that should be all too surprising as Sly were here.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but at the same time, the area certainly is so open that they could have gone anywhere they wanted to, even just outside of Impala. If they wanted to try and contest it after they've looted, do whatever. I think just a little bit of a change would have been a lot easier, a lot nicer for them. And you see the result here. They're out first in this second to game, so it really is all down to that last Erangel game for them to actually get some points.
Yeah, they're still going to also be sat inside of that bottom 3, so if they want to make it to that stage 2, it's going to have to be a whopper of an Erangel game that we've never seen before from Watch and Learn. We know teams on the bottom side of that leaderboard have been, though, today setting up some good points for themselves, have been rising in the standings. I think also one to watch after those last 2 games is Foreign, of course, here to Neptura. The last 2 games have been picking up a fair few eliminations, like Major Pride style yesterday, where they're quiet, but they're still rising in towards those middle ranks.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely one to watch as we get closer and closer to the end game here. Yeah, we will be interested to see how they go. They're one of those teams on our list to really watch closely, right? Not sure where they landed. I didn't quite see where they went, but for sure going to be the ones to watch here. Langers Bliss, another team that have done quite well so far today. They've had a few ups and downs, but that first
yeah.
game in particular was really good from them, and they have Chumasera to their own, so they should be good to go in this first half of the game.
And the exciting part as well for Langers is as much as they were starting lower on the leaderboard today, they've been able to climb to a position where if they actually have 2 more good performances today, they could be looking, if the Moretti also choke a little in one of these next 2 games, Langers looking at a top 3 position as well. It's all really up in the cards for so many of these teams, and it's about, as you say, Langers' performance today has really given them that opportunity now. They just need to continue that consistency for the next 2 matches.
100%. I just caught sight of something very interesting in the kill feed, though, and that is SBG claiming a point for themselves. I think off of Bonfire, perhaps there. So looking,
Yeah, looks like it.
Important point for them, right? At this point, any points at all are important ones, as you see somebody going off in the distance there. So SBG cleaning up a straggler, it looks like, and they will be making their way further into zone here in a little bit. Unless, actually, this spot is pretty good. They may actually decide to stay here for a little longer, and I wouldn't hate it.
Look, SBG, they are going to be in the open. Really, though, it's not too scary at this point in time being in the open. You don't expect teams to be really going around this area as well unless they're making a bigger rotation. So they're going to be quite comfortable with this spot for now. They're going to be able to also utilize a more open area in the early part of the game to stop for now, be able to get some information, be able to see quite a ways around them in that 360 sort of vision that open space does give them. So good opportunities for information and forward moving into phase 2 for SBG.
100%. Kuze, though, a big team that we've been looking at so far today. Massive improvement so far in their gameplay from today versus day 1, but they're a long way outside of zone right now, 1,900 meters, and the zone is currently closing in. They don't have that much longer to loot, but it looks like they're looting fairly quickly. They've got some good stuff on board, so we should be seeing them ship out in just a moment or so. I would expect them to be moving out right about now. So we'll see how that goes. Moving over to Picada, though, Highland, we see Dreamers. Now, Dreamers, we haven't had much opportunity to talk about them, right? We've had a few good plays from them, but mostly they've been very quiet.
Yeah, the Dreamers also have been struggling a little bit today. I'm also surprised by that too, Neptura. Dreamers, they were really looking as one of those top teams, you could say. One of those teams who contest top 3 after the first 5 games on Sunday. But now here, it's proving a little bit difficult here for Dreamers to be frank, to be able to get those points. I'm curious if they've just got a little bit of nerves, if something is going on. It does seem a different Dreamers today than what we saw 2 nights ago.
It's entirely possible, right? It could be anything from that to a different roster, perhaps. You know, they got their sub in, something like that. It could be there's some pressure outside factor. You know, somebody's got to be somewhere, so then we're going to change it and then do this. Or it could just be they've tried to change their strategy a little bit too much. So we'll see how it goes for them in these last 2 games. So far, they're looking okay. They're decently, I think, inside zone, and they are off to themselves. So not too bad here. Fairway as well, looking good. They're just outside a zone, and they'll be moving in forthwith. But with 20 more seconds left on this stage 1, we're going to be seeing where stage 2 pops pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this stage 2 will pop. So you've got more of that southern area. Yeah, it's random Impala. You've got those southern hills, of course, as well. Towards the north, really, you're looking at, again, maybe some more of a position towards Becado and around these more open areas at the middle of Miramar can really open up here. Becado Hill is going to be shifted away from, however, and also towards maybe a bit more of that graveyard area is available for these teams as well. La Bendita, they're also open as a really nice spot. I am always looking, though, when I think about that graveyard area, that big church, right, on the hillside, that really concrete position that teams can look for. It looks over so much of the lower ground and so much of the entrances into that compound.
It's very similar to what we saw in the first Miramar. So at least for a lot of these teams, they're like, okay, we just got done playing this sort of zone in this sort of area, so shouldn't be too much of a change from what they did previously, and we'll be seeing a lot more of these teams as they get closer together. I am slightly worried about the southern side, though, especially the southwest corner of the zone. You've got a lot of teams over in Impala moving up from the Picado and San Martin area through Graveyard, as you're seeing happening right now, and this is where those shots are being fired.
And these shots from that high area as well. You can see AOR, they're trying to capitalize on the high points that Graveyard can provide for these teams. It looks like TPS going to be down below there in the same way. Bonfire also going to get a knock there onto SBG as we could shift over to them. Meanwhile, Foreign also picking up one onto SBG. So this three-way, it looks like, between these two teams, or just SBG really getting caught between a sandwich of two squads.
Yeah, I was watching the elimination feed. I think that somebody got blown up in their vehicle, and there goes another one. At least for Foreign, this is excellent news, right? They're going to pick up a couple of eliminations, and they will see themselves looking not too bad. They are in that running for that top 3, top 4 position. So for them to get 2 eliminations this early on would not be a bad thing.
And controlling also one of the stronger points of the zone too. This little compound dipped in between those hills, a ridge there on beside the road. You can catch those teams rotating in where a road really is the most easy way to navigate around that area as a vehicle. Did already capture SBG doing just that. Also allows them to see towards more of the other areas of Miramar as well, heading down towards that hill. So strong of a point. My only worry is that they are only 3 players, of course, so Neptune are coming into this game. So controlling it, if a full squad would come in, they're already going to be at that disadvantage. So teams might look towards this popular area and perhaps end up contesting Foreign for it.
Quite possible. I mean, you're looking at, like you said, a very good position. Very strong indeed. The good news for Foreign, though, is that it's also very open. So you're not going to be able to sneak up on this position very easily. At some point, you will be spotted. So they do have that going for them. But we'll see how it works out as we see Dreamers actually going, and SPG, over to the new and improved Junkyard, right? I've only been there
We're on
once.
a bathroom break. Right now, that was the
literally.
bathroom right there. I mean, it's pan away from that one quickly. We're on a pause. we're between phase shifts. There's Live Machine here, stepping back on into the road. Shockwave. Live Machine are going to find him, but they're hidden inside of the smoke. It's a bit of seeing where each of them both are. Live Machine. Do they even know one of the members of Shockwave are? They must know someone's around the area, and as that smoke dissipates, yes, here it is. Grenade now being ready to be thrown by Shockwave for it. It's going to be risky, but it will miss. It will go completely wide.
Oh, good.
Molly now into the smoke, and this will throw out Shockwave. They're trying their best here to find Gristo. Almost got caught on the side of her own vehicle. Gets back in the other side of that vehicle in time. Shockwave not making it easy for them.
No, not at all, which is crazy considering Caramelia's really awful position, but some good teamwork from her teammates there, from her players. But Caramelia, there's only so much she can do at that point. The Molotov's just too strong a position. And now Shockwave just down to that one solo. Oreo moving away again, as we saw earlier. Nice little spray from Freeps there, but it's just too far away. So both the French teams will be down to just a solo for this Miramar.
And it's all about keeping themselves alive here, Neptura, because it's these placement points. It also matter, of course, right? And if they can pick up an elimination here or there, then likely not going to get more than that with the state of their position right now, and still with 17 teams alive. However, they can still look to try just stabilize a little bit of the game and make sure they don't fall out with too worse of a result. Demerete around also with La Bandita side here is it will also be this big crater. I'm surprised there's not more teams coming from, especially the south side, so many of them towards this area. Could have been a pretty position for them. Obviously not going into the crater itself, but this outside mountain range is very beautiful for the information.
It really is. I do love La Bandita, those cliffs, a lot. I used to play them a lot when I was doing solo squads in Miramar. And it's a good spot, so I am surprised no one's really taking advantage of it. No one really contending the south side either, which I thought was definitely going to be very, very busy. I think probably a lot of these teams made very early rotations, and so that helped them avoid most of the conflict, but they can't avoid the Anger Highland. It goes back down to the south, straight onto a whole bunch of fields and open spaces, and this is where things are about to get nasty.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, right? They all made that big northern rotation, then it shifts down south, and now they've all got to join back in towards the north, where it's really not a very pretty area. You've got also Fairway, you've got them around this more open areas you mentioned towards the south. This road as well is going to do a lot in terms of splitting these teams between that left and that right side to Neptura. So you've got those big mountain tops towards the center west of that zone. I think teams will really be looking at on that end of the zone. The right side, though, it's a bit more hilly, it's a bit more bumpy. So navigating that area with so many teams could prove quite tricky for these squads moving in towards this phase 3, phase 4.
Indeed. Oof. We certainly do have this fight potentially brewing here. You see QZ there. They've had such a good run coming in here into the fourth game. They've looked so solid. They've gone out a little earlier than they would have liked, but Letty has always been the solo to back up her team. So they've not had a bad day today at all. And so for them to continue their streak into this game would really make sure that they're nice and safe. Aurora, not safe, gonna be rolling that vehicle, but she's good. She's back. It is all good to go.
No, that's one way to get down the mountain, right?
For sure.
Like, you know, do a little bit of a roly-poly down the cliffside with your vehicle. It's a quicker way to get down there if you can't quite get the angle of the tires to work for you, you know? You gotta do what you gotta do to get into this zone. And she will do just that. She refills with a petrol, intending, obviously, here to move forward into that zone with it. Meanwhile, a lot of these teams centered inside of the zone. We might have to wait for this next shift, though, Neptura, to see all of these teams be forced to move out of their current position. They all seem to have found a spot for themselves.
They have indeed, with relatively little bloodshed, right? We've only lost one team and 6 other players. As Shockwave does go on out, Oreo is finally found there. So 17th place, that means 0 points for this second to last game. It's really looking tough for them, but at least they still have a chance, right? They still got one more game, and they are in the top 15 just about. So we'll see how that works out for them as Nina follows suit. There she goes, and it's not looking good for SBG. I don't know what kind of points they have right now, but with only 1 point for this game entirely, I'm really questioning their ability to even come back in game 5.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to need a really whopper of a game 5 to be able to get back out of that relegation zone that really we started in today. They've remained in today. We're going to have to do something different from SBG. Of course, every team has its up games and its down games. It can still come through on Erangel. AOR suddenly moving in on this stage 4 shift. It has gone towards the edge of the hillside of La Bendita. It moved up as well from the south by the looks of it, away from the open area, which is a good thing for a lot of these teams. However, also moving out of that south area for some of these squads like Fairway is going to be pretty tough. You can see even BRX also struggling here as they are making their move through this big open area, jumping around with the vehicles as they try to find a spot to try settle down in.
Do indeed. And this is where we're all coming together. Here we go. 3 different teams all going up against to try and get into zone somehow. And BRX not looking good at all, the poor things. They moved in between 2 different teams. They do get taken out there. There was nowhere for them to go. One of the casualties of the new zone shift coming in here. You do see Lex with a really good position as AOR have decided to kind of stay inside La Bendita. I don't hate this move from them. Gives them a great angle onto QZ, oh my goodness. But it allows teams to fight around them with relatively good cover. So don't hate that. We'll see how they can use that super effectively as Flex, all in one vehicle, playing the dangerous card here as they try and move around this third party.
Yeah, forward as well, diving on into the La Bendita side and those little ridges before it. Flex gonna fall to Lagers. Here comes forward as well, onto Lagers themselves, but they bouncing onto Tesha. Won't eliminate her just yet, but for the side of Flex, it is absolute disaster. There they fall outside of the VP plus they go. Lagers Blissbo stuck inside the blue. They'll take out another of Foreign. It is shooting season for Lagers, but Foreign, they aren't done just yet. They will finally fall, and it's 7 eliminations after all of those squads for Lagers.
It is. Look at them go. Really popping off in the second to last game. Looking really good. They do go down to just 2, though. They need to get this up quickly because their time is running out. Another one goes down. So 7 eliminations may all be all they're able to get here as Pentica, she's going to have to try and get something done here. But I think the bullets are just coming in too fast. Mad Bulls have now shown up. They're looking ready to take over that fight as they gatekeep a really good spot in the next zone.
Yeah, Mad Bull is beautiful. Also, I really love that the side of AOR have moved out of that crater. They had a 1-3. They lost their player to a knock who was outside of the crater. Really put a lot of pressure on them to be able to control that top mountainside with that singular player guarding that area knocked. So to quickly come out, good decisions there of that area and to control the stronger high ground coming into this later part of the game. Sly also doing a dance here between their opponents, trying to find a position inside of the zone. It will be, though, I was going to say who I believe fall through here. Yes, it will be Demuerte. Also trying to find a position inside of the zone and outside in to the edge of the zone, all the way into the distance. TPS versus Sly, and Sly will fall. It's going to be TPS who pick that one up for themselves. Demuerte, meanwhile, pinning down Mad Bulls.
Goodness me, yeah, this is exactly what Demuerte need to do, especially towards the Mad Bulls, right? 3 eliminations isn't all that much, but when you try and pick out Mad Bulls here, when you try and go for these teams that, like, Kusai is out, 0 points on the board. They're top of the leaderboard right now. There's all to play for both Mad Bulls and for Demuerte. At the moment, Demuerte definitely winning this.
And Morate trying to keep their streak into the top 3 alive here. It's been a good last game and they're looking strong still. Make it 4. They've got the knocks to get a few extra on top. Barse as well. Going to grab one for themselves. You can see them also in the elimination feed. Langer is even picking up one for them too, but they will fall quickly after. Bonfire taking them out, and now TPS also falling. Fairway stepping up to Demuerte. And it's the front line here of a back three split for side of Fair. Stepping back down with the nades, pushing them away. Nikki stepping up alongside Demuertes. They'll throw a few more of the throwables down. They'll find one, they'll find three. It's another double. And it looks like it might be some help from the off angle, but it's taking out the side of Fairway. Demuerte also lost a couple to Barce. And it's a bit of a disaster, but at the end of it all, it's 8 eliminations for the Demuerte team.
Oh my goodness. And for Dreamers, we talked about Dreamers earlier. They needed these points more than anybody. And they're getting them. They are definitely getting them. They're easing their way over into the top half of the leaderboard and looking darn good while doing it. Full squad still up. 1 of 3 here, working with the best in this lobby. And then you got Bonfire, right? You got that one solo just hanging on for dear life, and she's earned her team a top 4 spot.
Yeah, Dreamers, 8 eliminations for them too, and we needed them to start showing some signs of life today. And they have picked up that lifeline. They've started CPR on their squad performance. They just need to finish and resuscitate themselves back into a good position at the end of this game if they can keep themselves alive. Demuerte will fall down to Bonfire Female in 4th. Brings us down to the final 3. That's an extra 1 for Dreamers. They're looking for even more than Nate. A little bit of a pop onto Barbie. They'll take Barbie with them, but Demuerte is going to be falling down his 10 now. Double digits for Dreamers. Looking to close out this game here on Miramar for them. They've got a ridge. They've got the ability. They've got the numbers as well. Stepping forward edge by edge of this ridge. Trying to find the next position of Demuerte. They know that they're there. They just need to find the throwables. Another nade being cooked.
Douche. It bounces off as well here. Dreamers not quite getting what they needed, but Demuerte, that's the last one of them. Demuerte do go out, but with 9 eliminations, Dreamers up to 11 now, and it's just Barce in their way.
And Barce, they've been a bit quiet, but we've seen them in the elimination feed. They've also got 4 eliminations already for them. They're looking and they've got a high ground spot. They've got the zone here. They might have just stolen this away from Dreamers. Dreamers, they might have gone too far. For Demuerte, the nades is raining down upon them. They're keeping themselves alive though. And another one for good measure right on top of their face. It's Demuerte, but trying. Also, should I think here Dreamers to continue to put some pressure on, but they can't. It's Barce here.
Jeez.
Who are just too strong, and Dreamers will fall. Barce with the chicken dinner for themselves, and they were one of these teams here. Neptura, who are looking at that top 3 position.
Mm-hmm. They are absolutely. What a game from both of these teams. Both of these teams really fighting it, but at the end, yeah, it was going to be Barce. They had that high ground. I agree. Probably Dreamers just pushed a little bit too far and just overextended just a little bit too much and allowed all those nades to come in. But Barce with those nades, I mean, how does a team have that many nades at the end of the game in the first place?
Look, that's because they've been long shot sniping all the eliminations beforehand, and they were pretty quiet. We hadn't seen them have a fight, and when you don't have a fight all game, you come to the end of it, and you're able to just utilize your entire game's worth of utility on one team. I always feel bad for Dreamers. Where do they move after fighting so many teams and then getting bombarded by so many of those nades at the end?
100%. My goodness me. Barce really knew what they were doing though, right? They were like, okay, you know what? You think Dreamers think they can do this? They can win? Well, watch this, and just absolutely bombarded them, and it was good fun. But yeah, Dreamers coming in with like 11 eliminations. Barce matching that as well. Really, really good contenders for the top 3. Definitely getting a lot closer to, that point gap is not so much as it once was. I think we're probably still seeing a little bit of a gap between first and second, but honestly, not by much at all, as Barce come in with 17 points. Now, remember, the top two are close to each other, but not close to third. There's a bit of a gap there, 20 or so points. So the third and downwards is super close, but we are talking about really a battle for third here.
Yeah, so there is a gap with Demarotti after that third game. Now, Demarotti also got third in this game, so they keep their positions somewhat alive. Demarotti, and they'll keep those points gap available to them. I think Demarotti should be within that top three still. However, Barce will definitely be right behind them after this game in that chicken dinner for themselves. It's all down to whether Barce can have another good performance right coming into this next game soon, and if Demarotti will stumble at that final hurdle, because it's not all over, right? It's still one comfort really for a lot of these teams in Erangel.
Yeah, 100%. And especially when you think about, Cusay coming in here and they had a 0 point game. Like, as a top of the leaderboard, 0 point game coming in here to the last game, you are really starting to worry a little bit. Yes, you have that gap. But with De Muerte and Mad Bulls both doing really well in that game, you are going to start to think a little bit more cautiously about your next game.
Yeah, I mean, for Kithe, they really are going to, you'd imagine, be within that finals contention space for them. They're looking pretty comfortable. As long as they pick up a few points in this next game, I really don't think they should be all too worried about their position. It's really if they want to fight for that first versus these Mad Bulls, who are looking really dominant throughout this entire Group A stage. And as we move into these player focus, top five, we can see the dominance continue on other teams of Demarotti and also Langers. Dreamer is also stepping in there. You've got 5 eliminations on Farazlia, and also the side of Barty, should I say, with Zeros there, 2 more, and Liot for 3 eliminations more. Looking now towards the Erangel, I think I also am expecting some more of an up from some of these other teams, of course, who aren't within these top half of the match standings. I mean, we are looking at a few of these names still within the relegation space, Nepture, who need to rely on Erangel to be able to get themselves into that stage 2.
100%. I think we will start to see a very exciting game coming through, to be completely honest, because, yeah, it is down to that last game for Group A. And so you are going to start seeing a lot more teams kind of go, you know what? Let's just hot drop, see what happens, get those points if we can, or, not thinking so much about placement, looking for those eliminations, looking for those quick points, something like that. As you see a lot of teams have a 0 point game here, you are going to see a lot of these teams feel that pressure, particularly down to the lower end, right? BRX, another 0 point game for them. They're down to that 16th position. Lex as well, not safe at all. And AOR silently, I have to say, they just made it into 15th or 14th position, and with 2 more points, it's again not safe.
Yeah, so realistically, as you say, right, the hot drop is quite an answer, I would say, really, for watch and learn for BRX, these teams who have been struggling. They're in a dangerous position. You can see BRX in 16th. Watch and learn are there alongside SGB, who are our other team inside at 17th and 18th positions. They need to come out with some aggression coming into this last game. There's also, as you can see, a big gap between 16th and 15th spot now forming. Foreign are 11 points ahead of BRX, so they will need that big performance to be able to ensure that they beat Foreign, who, by the way, as well, alongside AOR, are starting a bit of a resurgence for themselves at the end of today.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if we look at the end of the first day, right? Foreign Esports were last place with 6 points, and now they have 31. So they've had a massive day here today, considering their previous performance in day 1. So it's looking very good for them. I totally agree, and I think we should be able to see some more from them coming into this final game as well. But Highland, It's been a lot of yakking, a lot of walking, a lot of watching, and we are gonna be wrapping up fairly shortly here. We have one left, but before that, very short break. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.
I'll be there when the lights don't shine. I'll be there in the sleepless nights. I'll be there, make you feel alright. I'll be
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are once again, back at it. The final game, though. This is the final game of Group A. There will be no more games after this, and we're going on to Erangel, Highland.
Look, we're going on to Erangel. It is the 10th and last game for Group A. The standings, they have solidified somewhat, but they are not fully set. The cement has not been placed and dried just yet. And the house of who goes through to the finals and stage 2 is not finished its foundations. So we are to see here in Jura who goes through in this final match. SGB, Watch and Learn, and BRX. They're all inside of this relegation space. It's 11 points. But foreign esports are ahead of BRX in 15th. So there is some work to be done. They're going to need a big game here. Some of these teams that we just mentioned to be able to get outside of that relegation area if they want to make it stage 2.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because in order to do that, foreign also have to go out without any points. Right? Or at least maybe 2 points or something like that. They have to go out very early on, and that is the only way that some of these teams in the relegation zone are going to be able to move ahead. So it's very, very difficult for them at this stage to do that. But we'll see what they've got in them. Maybe this is all that the pressure they needed to actually get a good game in. We will see. As we will see where the zone is about to pop up. I think it's about to pop up. It should go very shortly. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. Western side of the zone coming in here. So we got some Gakka, we got some Pachinki in here, as well as Fairy Pier. So it's all looking pretty good. But I tell you what, Highland, that north side is looking dangerous. Yeah,
I'm looking at just that in Barca. They're going to get V-kill, and I'm sure they're going to get the heck out of there because that's the three-way team, and there's not a compound really there, to be frank. Down here as well, towards the south side of school, we've got TVS. Also holding up against, is that BRX, I believe, here? That's good. Yeah, so this is going to be a big fight between these two teams. TPS, a bit more comfortable, of course, in the standings, but for BRX, this is a big, important engage that they're going to have to pull off here if they want to get these points. They're doing what they need to do, which is get points. It's very risky.
It is very risky, especially considering, well, it isn't very risky considering that TPS are a duo right now, but it is very risky in general, right? If you've been a team that haven't done so well, you're going up against a team that has done well. Even if it is just a duo with more on the way, you're quite quickly being taken down, but Cupquake goes down first here as the knock is quickly traded in. Damla doing her best as the rest of her teammates rock up.
And here comes the rest of TPS. They're trying to bet, but TPS are falling. Is this BRX?
Wow!
It is going to be BRX cleaning up a third, but look at the state of BRX.
Yeah.
They need to get their healing back on quick. They've lost another knock, so they will revive that. The nades coming through from the solo TPS. They need to try and get in here quickly. They're not, though, I believe, going to be able to get there quick enough, even with them sprinting towards this building. The 2-2 split did not work out for TPS. And they're gonna maybe even lose their 4. Can they catch another elimination? BRX, they need this, but TPS, they're gonna get away towards the apartments for now.
They are in deep, but oh my goodness me. What an upset, right? TPS, they're probably safe to say quite safe, but still, that is huge for BRX. That is what they needed for the rest of this game, right? They need 11 points. They have 3. Now they work on the rest of them. QZ not backing down to De Muerte. Another huge fight right off the bat.
Oh, and it's spin for the third, but it's not enough to stop the 360 no-scope of Bianca onto the return of De Muerte. Gets back behind the hill, and now it will be a 2-for-1 trade. However, Kasei, they were chasing this one. They instigated this fight, and still it's going to be Kasei running backwards, and De Muerte the ones to push here, potentially onto purple. They look to obviously clean up the final 2 remaining out in the open. And then there's whether Demorati look for the push more.
Interesting. Yeah, they're gonna go for that revive if they can get it. Knight's gonna do her best, but it might not be enough. You do have Xena there trying to get that off angle, but Bianca's holding down her angle pretty darn well here. This is another big fight as Letty, our queen, our MVP of the night, goes down, goes out. Unfortunately, she cannot carry her team in this final game, but G nonetheless. And you know what? QZ down to 2. They should be safe for the finals at this point, but you know, even a bad game, it really puts a little bit of pressure.
And here's Xena, of course, looking through that window, trying to find one of these Kusei members. If he can get another knock, he's sure that Demorati would charge in for the final member. Waiting patiently for now, and then they maybe gonna join up with the rest of their team, utilize the vehicles they've got, maybe just move further towards the zone for a better position here. They might, of course, just hang around for a little while longer while stage 1 closes in. They are within that first phase, very comfortable for now, and knowing that Kasei, they've really not got a lot of options here. They've got that vehicle, but the buggy's out in the open where they parked it. So to run away from here, Demorati, could be tricky here with only that buggy in the open.
Could indeed. I think at this point, Demorati need to leave, right? They've got a fairly good ratio. They've only lost 1 for the 2 eliminations they have. And I think they just need to disengage. It's only going to lead to kind of a standoff.
Exactly.
They need to move on forward with their game. Now we look over to same old, to be honest. Barce and Sly both here in Yasnaya, but they're not as close together as we saw in the first game, right? They're a little bit more like we saw them in day 1, and they've got 800 meters to go, so I don't think they want to engage anytime soon.
Yeah, so here Barce much more split as well towards that southern, that eastern end of Yasnaya Polyana. The first game they were very close northwesterly of Yasnaya Polyana together. So I like that little adaptation where they're both sharing the city, but they are not too together at the start of the game. So we're not going to slow each other down or hinder each other's progress. And that just allows them both to get a solid final performance in this game, especially where Barce Rides are also looking to contest that top 3 position as well. So they want to obviously look at Sly as a potential few eliminations if they can find it. They don't want to go out too early though to a silly fight that doesn't go their way.
Exactly. Azeros, yeah, she has gone down here, and the zone is really coming in very quickly. I'm surprised at Sly here. They're looking all very much towards them when really they should just get out of Dodge, but they may not have the vehicles to do that. They may be trying to get to the road to get those vehicles, and maybe this fight is in their best interest. We'll have to see as Gristo pushes in and up, and Yildiz is being very, very quiet here. We'll see how this works out for them, but honestly, Highland, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, this is really risky as well. 850 or so meters for some of these slime members, 800 for Barce away from the zone. It's gone more southwesterly away from these teams in Yasnaya Polyana, so they're going to have to then navigate really in towards those Gatka Fields area, it seems, to where that zone has been going. We'll have to have a look at that zone, exactly where it is. For now, Barce looking to gatekeep these potential elimination points that they obviously are wanting, holding such a position so aggressively here.
Oh, interesting from Gris on the roof. This could be interesting from her, but she doesn't have any health to go through with it. So it's interesting, but not going to be viable here. And honestly, the zone has moved again. They're still here. 1,500 damage. They need to get out. And I think Sly Machine have finally realized this isn't going to work. They do have a vehicle, and now they need to get out of Dodge.
Yeah, I mean, you could see there also, right, some of these slime members, they were completely out of a healing as well, so they were going to end up struggling with this phase one. If they stay here any longer, they will move down and towards this zone. It has centralized pretty nicely for a lot of these teams. Is the space around Gatka, as we said. We've also got here SGB. Speaking of teams, speaking of rotations in towards that Wizard Tower, moving there they go as Barce. However, that seems to have finally picked up here. Now, sure, Gristo gonna fall down to Zeros.
Yikes! I mean, it's two big teams with a lot riding on this this last game here, and they get a point. It's looking good for them, but Gristo going down is a loss to the Sly members, but it does look like Sly got out of there, so it looks like maybe it was just a rotational elimination there, and now it's up to Barce to get out themselves. Next time we see that map feed, I'm guessing that Sly are well on their way to zone.
Yeah, so Barce, they've got a fair bit of healing here. They're going to pick also his painkillers up, which will negate pretty much most of phase one's, even stage 2 here's damage. Demorati also going to be pretty down far, actually, away from this zone too. 1,600, 1,700 meters. They've got the healing as well. These big teams, however, and the ones that are contesting that top 3 spot, very far away in terms of that zone, and that could bite these teams later when it comes to getting a secure informational point in later in that zone.
Yeah. Oh dear. And she's a little bit stuck. There we go.
Yep.
She's got it in the end, but they gotta hurry. Right? 26 seconds till that next zone. That's when it's really gonna start taking that health down bit by bit. You do see not a whole lot more coming in from these different teams. Lex is now down to a duo, but apart from that, you're not seeing much change in those roster numbers. You do see though Flex coming in here, 2 eliminations on the board, now looking for their 3rd, 4th, 5th, and potentially 6th even over onto AOR.
Yeah, so Barce also going to close into the zone here. They have been able to very quickly make it through. Haven't lost all that much. And also a lot of utility here on Barce, of course. Being within that city, Sly were really actually pushed towards that north western corner of Yasnaya Polyana. So interestingly enough, Barce had a lot of room around that city, and you can see that a lot of these players having 7, 8 smokes, 3, 4, 5 nades on them. They have a lot to work with when still coming into this zone, which is something really crucial for a team that is going to need to fight a lot to be able to catch up to Demorati.
100%, yeah, they're really preparing themselves for those close quarter combats, and the nades have really been a meta that I've loved seeing grow over the last year or two. And it's really working. You know, you have good nade skill, you can turn the tide of a game any which way you want. So it's a really, really good thing to have here. For Bonfire in particular, they're going to be, as you said, you know, looting up. They're one of those teams looting up for sure, but they're going to keep to themselves. They have a really good compound to themselves, and they need to keep it that way. So they're going to chill for Foreign as well, up on that hill, up on that church area. They need to play this super carefully. They cannot afford to go out early because, like we said, they're only 11 points ahead of that elimination zone.
Yeah, and that's very viable in terms of being punished, in terms of also being overtaken by Barce, who are very ready here. Pachinki also, we got to remember, is inside of that zone. You can see here the teams looking around that area. I think also the Chopsticks, and of course, just north of those Chopsticks, the hillside, you've got a bit of a compound even there available for these teams. All of that will be interesting to potentially use. We'll have to see where that zone goes eventually, though, as a new position has gone down all the way towards Quarry. Yeah. So Mad Bull's really a beautiful position here. I'd love to see them take control of those hills, actually, just to the east of Quarry. Would really be a great lookout location over that road to the north, and those big open fields heading into Quarry westerly to that direction.
Yeah, definitely. Really good. They must be celebrating right now. Because, yeah, Mabels, they are in contention right now. There's a little bit more of a gap, as we discussed before the game, right? So, not too much of a worry that they'll go down into fourth or out of the third, the top three. But still, you want to have a really good game here. You don't want to go out early. You're really aiming for top 7, maintain that consistency right through to the end. And if all these rotations end up happening between each other, that actually might happen, because what is going on? 3, 4 different teams in the Gatka area right now as they all try and make their way in.
Around these chopsticks area is a nice little break between the flat open area of Gatka fields, which are going to be very open. It's going to be pretty chaotic. You've got to imagine if teams, multiple of them, start piling up around this area, it's going to slow teams down and create a bit of a standstill in terms of teams getting into the zone if they are the likes of Mad Bulls, other squads looking around those fields areas. Watch and Learn, another one of these big teams or big performance teams that need to have that performance this game, should we say, where it comes to they are in a relegation zone. They're going to make that rotation through. A bit of a wider rotation here as well. Getting caught up here. Got to see who that is behind them, though. It is looking like BRX, so it will be the fight between both of these teams in the bottom 3.
Indeed, massive fight about to break out here, and it's so important for all 3 of them. You're really gonna find out who has a chance here when they start popping off a little bit here. Bonfire, though, is gonna try and watch over this a little bit as Flex get taken down to some low health there. Watch and Learn definitely have a position here. They can gatekeep, they have that high ground. They really just have to be careful of their backs.
And indeed, we just got to be careful as they move into this zone. They should be all right. Stage 3, it's only going to be stage 3, as we say, moving a minute still between to stage 4. There's plenty of time for the rotation still to happen for these teams. SGB, you can also see in the distance there, making a pair slightly slower rotation away from those Gatka fields to Foreign. Slightly caught up here between Bonfire, though not so much happening. You do see finally one knock starting to come through. BRX getting caught by Mad Bulls, it seems to be, yes, on this hillside. And you can see with that Mad Bulls point of view as well, just how open this area is. And Maya has such a view onto all of those squads moving in.
100%, and this is where Watch and Learn really have to pay attention and be careful, right? Because not far downwind from them is Mad Bulls, and downwind from them is De Muerte, so they gotta be careful of where they're looking, what they're doing, because it's very easy to get taken out by a couple of these bigger teams, these more successful teams here so far in Group A. At the moment, Watch and Learn are gonna be very careful. They just need to make sure they don't do it, that they're just chilling. For now, that's what they're doing.
That's what a lot of these teams seem to be doing. It's going to take another zone shift, you got to think, for these teams to move further forward. It will be down towards those quarry hills. It's going to be down to that open space. You see, yeah, Mad Bulls. I also think actually the side of, I believe it's De Muerte, those buildings just below the hillside, also available to these teams. Could be a little bit of a nice position there for De Muerte. Even Quarry itself is a potential location that teams want to maybe dive down on into. BRX stuck between SGB though. If one of these teams fall, is the end of the road for them. But who's going to take who? BRX already down to 2 players. Watch and Learn. That is going to be, unfortunately, their tournament over here as they'll fall down 0 points in the bottom of this game. And BRX might just join them in relegation if SGB continue this pressure. The nade over the top shouldn't do too much here. The Boxies defend the health bar, and Barca even moving in here as well onto the forest. Into the Erangel 2.0 area. Coming into the quarry side is Zeros finding one. Flex also going to fall away. And there also go BRX.
Dear, oh dear. Lots happening now. I have words to say about Watch and Learn's push there, but we'll leave it for another day because we're back over with Barce and QZ. Both of these teams down to the south side, both outside of zone, and they need to move in. Not sure that they'll really find any fight, though, amongst themselves. They might decide to just not do anything, but that's not what Mad Bulls are doing. Poor Bonfire getting picked apart, a right made out of them with those nades. Oh my goodness me, as they now pick up on AOR's movement here. Mad Bulls really doing great work because they're just shooting in every direction. They're so aware of their surroundings.
And here in AOR as well, trying to make a move in the distance with those players of Bonfire being taken down. They see an opportunity for themselves, race with the Jeep across. Zero's going to lose one, but Bonfire completely out here. Shockwave even losing one in the elimination feed. It's all of these players jumping into the quarry area, and you can see the absolute madness. There's so many of them also falling down to single players, duos here as well here.
They really are. Mostly at the hands of Mad Bulls, to be honest. 8 eliminations already, and then you got De Muerte, you got Flex, and you got 4 in all with 4 eliminations as well. But that's QZ out, our current leaders of the board right now, out with 3 points. It's not enough to dethrone them, but it is enough to keep them from spreading that gap further. Mad Bulls have a real chance here to get on top if possible. They're already got 8 eliminations.
Yeah, I mean, Mad Bulls, I believe they may have just overtaken Kusei here. We'll have to see about the overall standings with those extra eliminations now. Definitely, for sure, looking like a Mad Bulls victory in this group so far. They've just got to close out with these extra elimination points, a few more placement points in their pockets with a good performance. Pinning down here. Sly Machine stuck inside of that one building. There really is nowhere to go for these squads. SGB as well caught on the edge. Old Daddy making a good work to cover SGB off from entering in. And Sly, that's a big move. They get one, but they're going to lose 3 for it.
One another.
And there also goes Kometsu. That will be it. Dreamers finish them off.
That is unfortunate for Sly, but they did what they could with what they had, and unfortunately it wasn't going to be enough. There's just too many teams everywhere right now. SBG, the next on Mad Bull's list, up to 11 points now on the board already, and we're not even in the top 5. We've just finished, or we've just become the top 10 right now as Mad Bulls charge forward there. AOR go out before SBG. That's big for them, as SBG have 2 eliminations on the board, top 9. They just need to hold on a little bit longer to get those placement points.
Barce trying their best as well with these placement points, but Foreign finding one in the back, and immediately they return the gift of a knock onto Foreign. Then the zone's even going to engulf him as well. Foreign completely in the mercy of the zone, and it's not a merciful zone indeed. By this point, stage 5, it hurts Neptura, and Barce looking to take those eliminations alongside it. They'll bring back the revive, back up to 4 players. Mad Bulls closing in though a little here. Leora with a nade over the top onto Barce. A sneaky one along the ridge. Will it make contact though? It looks good, but it's not going to find anyone just yet. Maybe he did find Ferrock, though. We'll have to see.
Yes, indeed. Mad Bulls now finally...
Oh,
what? No way. No way. GG's Barce, but Mad Bulls, I have to say, they are just on a rampage. There is no stopping this team. 15 eliminations, and we still have 7 teams to go. I don't think that this new zone shift is going to stop them in any which way. I was going to say that, oh, you know, it kind of... they're kind of, for once, not being helped out by the zone here, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. They're going too far in it as Flex now fighting their way against Fairway. Fairway holding on, but I tell you what, Calypso doing some good work.
Flex should be making a presence here into the stage 2 alongside Fairway. Fairway just going to gatekeep here. Flex as much as they can. Flow trying their best. Calypso behind the tree, barely in time for those shots, but behind them is SGB.
GG's.
SGB still in this game. Keep in mind, SGB are in the relegation space, but now they'll also fall down into the next position. 5th place for them. They'll get some placement points. I don't think it'll be enough. Mad Bulls, they are the ones taking all of the points in this round of Erangel here. Make it 16. Demuerti now will drop. Fairway alive. Yes, Dreamers alive. It's all about where that zone goes. It has gone up to Fairway. Dreamers really a disaster for them in the bottom of the pit. The zone has gone away from them, Neptura. This might just be a 3rd place finish for them.
Goodness me, but Dreamers, where have these guys been, right? In the last 3 games, we consistently see them top 3, plus 5 nations at least, more like, and we didn't see them pretty much at all in day 1, so really nice step up from them. Here they are again in the top 3, but it is down to Fair, right? Fairway. They're looking good. They got the zone. They got a good spread across the zone. Now they just need to not get nuking. No.
Yeah, I mean, the nades coming through. Fairway. We're trying their best to go on to Dreamers, and Mad Bulls find an opportunity. Grabbing one of those knocks there for now. Dreamers, they're making their push for Neptura. This is the time they have to go. They have to get into that zone. They cannot let that zone engulf them. Mad Bulls are trying their best to stop them, but Fairway, they're helping out. Maya's now down to the hand of Fair, and now also Fairway closing in on that zone, trying to stop both of these teams. There, Fairway looking for a big finish here, as big as they can. But Mad Bulls, they're falling to the wayside. 60 eliminations, but there's 3 down.
Goodness. Oh, yeah, Mad Bulls. I think this might be the end of the road for him. That's going to be a really nice nade. Does it get it, though? Yes. Yes, it does. They're just down to 1 sliver of health. No, they're not. They're out with that 1 nade. Brilliant stuff coming in from them there, but now we're just down to 2. 10 eliminations on the side of Dreamers, and the nades keep flying as Fairway fights for this last win.
Fairway have had this zone. Dreamers, I did not think they would get out of that pit. It was like they were being buried alive by the way that zone was going into the ground. For Dreamers, they get up to the top of the hill. They're rising up to try to claim this final winner chicken dinner. They're closing in onto the smoke. They see the locations, but Marley, just a bit of an overstep there, gets caught, and now Fairway grab another in Dreamers. They're falling apart down to the final one, and it's going to be Fairway coming in for the final chicken dinner prize, and they'll grab it. It's going to be a Fairway victory, and it's going to be fair all the way to stage 2 for them with that chicken dinner.
Nicely done. Good work. Brilliant stuff from all of these teams. I mean, Mad Bulls coming in there doing the business, but it is Fairway who win in the end. That was a brilliant nade onto Mad Bulls. They didn't have a choice but to get taken out there. Top 3 is good, but Fairway can do one better. They won up to Mad Bulls, right? Winning that whole thing. And I have to hand it to Dreamers as well. They've done a fantastic job tonight.
Look, I mean, Dreamers, they started to clinch back those points. They gave us the performance we were asking for. We said in Miramar, at second game, where are Dreamers? Where is that team that were contesting the top of the leaderboard at the start of today? Well, they were there all along. They just had to wake up after 3 games and get back onto those standings. A good finish for them. However, it was Fairway who come through with that victory. Both of these teams expecting now to see them, of course, in stage 2. With the extra points that Demuerti, keep in mind, were able to grab. They were staying alive towards those end portions of the game. They should also look to be still in that top 3 Neptune. We'll have to see how those overall standings change the final results.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I tell you what, Mad Bulls had the right strat, right? There's no way they need to worry about other teams getting points if they get all the points for themselves. I mean, 16 eliminations, top 3, it's fine. No one can come back from that. So, a really, really good job there by them. Love to see it. And I'm ready for week 2. It's going to be a good one.
Look, week 2 is going to be pretty darn epic if all of these teams joined alongside those teams, of course. Whoever we'll see in Group B, we'll have to find that out tomorrow. We're going to find out who goes through to the finals and stage 2 as well, of course, if they didn't get that bypass ticket. And who we're going to have to say goodbye to as well very, very shortly. Fairway, of course, with our final chicken dinner of Group A Stage 1 here. It's going to be the eliminations, 18 points total with those placement points. The longest elimination distance, so going to Mad Bulls, Neptura.
Yeah, good stuff. 309. Consistently seeing our longest elims over on Erangel rather than a more of a sniper map like Miramar, but that's fine. It's whatever. But yeah, some decent stats coming in here. Interesting. 0 airdrops there for the eliminations. It was a really interesting game because you could tell the dynamics, right? There was a lot of teams that they were like being really careful in the start there. No one was really doing a whole lot of fighting, but then you stage 4 and just all chaos loose there. And Amaya from Mad Bulls was not one of the lesser ones doing all the damage there. MVP of the game, number 10. 7 eliminations, 950 damage as well. And only doing 135 healing, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of healing, but you don't need to do a lot of healing when you get rid of all those players so quickly and aggressively. 7 there for my 6 for Leora. Daddy as well, going to be there. 3 out of the 4 Mad Bulls players were in that top 5 for the player focus this round. No surprise, considering that they got, I believe, 16 eliminations by the end of that round. I'm sure you can pretty sure be comfortable to say are in that top spot for Group A.
Yeah, it seems like they should be, right? And Leora, they're getting the bell of 1,000 damage, ding, ding, ding. Still unable to be for this round, but it's her teammate, so it's fine. It's all good. It's all part of the team, part of the crew, all of that. So really, really good stuff coming in there from them. And, it's crazy that O'Daddy is here with 2 eliminations. She did that with only 2 eliminations, that she's up amongst everybody with 8 and 7 kills and all of that. So very cool.
What's crazy to me is you get 1,000 damage and you're not the MVP of the game.
Yeah, right?
Like, you need like more damage than the MVP of most games and you're still not the MVP. Like, that's how much work Mad Bulls were putting in here in this final match. Fairway, 18 points as well for them, and that chicken dinner, 2nd place overall because Mad Bulls were always elimination points going towards them. Dreamers pick up that 3rd position. Demoretti as well with that 9 points. You should expect Demoretti, with being so high up there, to still remain comfortable in that top 3. We're going to move down now to the bottom of our match standings where, there was quite a few here, 0s and 1s expected with so much of those points going to the top teams.
Indeed. It was nice to see that SBG is not part of that 0 crowd, right? But Shockwave is. And Shockwave were fairly comfortably at the, above the 15th place, but I'm not so sure anymore. We had a lot of lower teams really move up, but here we go. Overall standings, Shockwave is in, as is AOR, as is Foreign, but we're looking at the top. Highland Mad Bulls, 115 points to win Group A.
Yeah, I mean, you don't often get to see that. They're averaging more than 10 points per game. It's 11.5 points per average game that they played over the 10 matches. BRX, unfortunately, it has to also be someone there at the bottom. SGB and Watch and Learn, they are also going to be relegated from the tournament here, Neptura. On the other hand, though, the success of those golden tickets, not just to Mad Bulls, Kasei, Demuerte, we're going to see them later this month because they're going all the way to the finals where they can compete for that prize money and the UC. Neptura, the rest of them, yeah, I mean, that's game one, okay. Neptura, the rest of these teams going towards stage 2. We're going to see both these two players head to head. I'm excited to see what they how they compete against the other teams in the finals later on. Because these two teams could say mad.
Yeah.
They were right up against each other to that last game.
They really, really were. And, you know, it's insane to see these kinds of stats coming out from individual players. I mean, I think Letty, we kind of cottoned on to. She was doing a lot tonight. But Amaya has been much more quiet coming into the last 5 games. She's been a solid teammate to her team, but she's not been super all over the camera like we saw Letty. So really nice work from her as well. But Highland, Group A, it's done. We're done. Do you have any final words before we close out the show?
Look, I'm just excited to see how these teams, especially the majority of them, of course, go into stage 2, where we're going to split teams, of course, into another 3 groups between 3 days of action. That's where it gets exciting, right? Between who goes through now also in Group B, and then how they're divided up, and how that changes the standings, and how it changes the perspectives of these players moving future into the tournament. They've got a few days here before we get to stage 2, though, so some prep work to be done to prepare for that next stage of the tournament.
100%. Well, everybody, I do hope you enjoyed the last Group A. I know we sure did. It's been great fun, and we look forward to seeing them all compete again. Congrats to everybody who qualified. Commiserations if you didn't, but GG's anyway. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow with day 2 of Group B. Same time, same place, and stick around till then. See ya.
Locked